Chapter 925. Two sides plotting. The news of a dragon turtle appearing in Beast King City could not be concealed. Soon, the news reached Bailey Hayshaw's ears. Even so, Bailey Hayshaw did not dare to believe it. He looked at the person who reported the news and asked, "Are you sure that someone in Beast King City has subdued a dragon turtle?" "Lord Hayshaw, I am absolutely sure that it is a dragon turtle." A young cultivator stood respectfully beside Bailey Hayshaw. He had seen the battle between the dragon turtle and the flood dragon in Beast King City with his own eyes. That was why he had hurried over to tell Bailey Hayshaw. In the end, Bailey Hayshaw was an elite nurtured by the Bailey clan. Although his talent was not as good as Bailey Jean's, he was much more experienced than Bailey Jean. Ever since he encountered the dragon turtle and was chased away by it, Bailey Hayshaw felt that something was amiss. He hurriedly investigated the matter and was shocked to discover that the dragon turtle was not coincidental. It had been chasing after Yi Fei. With the Bailey clan's connections, they quickly found out that the Star Moon Holy Land had been destroyed because of a dragon turtle. At this moment, Bailey Hayshaw realized that even if the dragon turtle was not raised by Yi Fei, it was definitely related to Yi Fei. Bailey Hayshaw was furious. He finally understood why Bailey Jean had not been able to capture Yi Fei. First, it was a half-sage. Then, someone pretended to be a martial monarch to scare Bailey Jean away. This Yi Fei has a dragon turtle following him. It seems that this person is not simple. Bailey Hayshaw paced around. After all, this matter involved the Beast King. He did not dare to be negligent. He hurriedly ordered, "Immediately send a message to Bailey Hayshaw and Bailey Jean. Tell them to hurry over." 3 days later, on a hill outside Beast King City, Bailey Jean and Bailey Hayshaw rushed over together with boundless demonic flames. Boom! Bailey Jean landed on the hill. His anger caused the entire hill to shake. "Hayshaw, let's go and negotiate with the Beast King. Tell him to hand over Yi Fei to us." "Bailey Jean, calm down. The Beast King is different from the other king's palaces. This is our Snow Wind Empire's biggest king with a different surname. His Majesty also trusts the Beast King a lot. Since the Beast King has brought Yi Fei into the king's palace, then he definitely won't care about our Bailey family," Bailey Hayshaw bitterly advised. Putting aside the fact that the Beast Master Mansion's strength wasn't any weaker than the Bailey family, the main point was that the Beast Master Mansion represented the Imperial clan. No matter how strong the Bailey family was, it was impossible for them to be stronger than the Imperial clan of the Snow Wind Empire. Bailey Jean's expression turned ugly when he heard this. He said angrily, "If Yi Fei hides in the Beast Master Mansion and refuses to come out, are we supposed to keep waiting?" "Hee, we don't have to worry about that. A few years ago, the Beast King discovered an ancient beast hall. Then, he started to look everywhere for people who owned the 10 vicious beasts. For this reason, he spent a lot of money to build the Empire's biggest beast battle arena to attract these vicious beasts. He invited Yi Fei into the king's palace because he wants to open the beast hall because of Yi Fei's dragon turtle," Bailey Hayshaw calmly analyzed. "That's right. Bailey Jean, before you become a martial emperor, our Bailey family shouldn't have any conflict with the Beast Master Mansion and the Imperial clan. Anyway, the Beast King is only using Yi Fei. Once he's done using him, he'll definitely kick Yi Fei out. At that time, it won't be too late for us to take action," Bailey Hayshaw also analyzed. Let him live a little longer." Bailey Jean's expression was still ugly. However, the Bailey family wasn't invincible in the Snow Wind Empire. The Imperial clan was a huge mountain that pressed down on the Bailey family. When the Beast Hall was discovered, it caused an uproar in the entire Snow Wind Empire. The Bailey family had also rushed over to fight for it. In the end, the Imperial clan issued an order and bestowed the Beast Hall to the Beast Master Mansion. It was a warning to the Bailey family. It also caused the Bailey family and the Beast Master Mansion to become enemies. When Bailey Zhen thought of this, he also understood that it was basically impossible to go to the Beast Master Mansion to ask for Yi Fei. He could only wait outside the city with the Bailey Shuangsha. When Yi Fei was done using him and kicked out of the Beast Master Mansion, it would be the same. Although Yi Fei doesn't have any talent, he's not stupid. Even if he's given 1,000 guts, he won't dare to expose her secret. After sending the Bailey Shuangsha to continue to gather information about the Beast Master Mansion, Bailey Zhen decided to just cultivate on the hill. As he cultivated, the entire hill was filled with a dense demonic flame. After not seeing each other for a while, Bailey Zhen had become even stronger. In the magnificent palace of the Beast Master Mansion, a few martial sages of the Beast Master Mansion knelt respectfully before the Beast Master and reported in a deep voice, "Beast Master, the Bailey Shuangsha seems to have entered the city. However, they have no intention of coming to the Beast Master Mansion. It seems that they don't dare to come." The Beast Master was a little depressed. He had not made a move for so long because he was waiting for the Bailey family to lose their patience and come to ask for Yi Fei. At that time, the Beast Master would be able to raise the price and find out why the Bailey family spent so much effort to hunt down Yi Fei. However, the Bailey Shuangsha was too smart. Xiao Chao's secret was a top secret in the Bailey family. Of course, they would not take the initiative to contact the Beast Master. It seems that the Bailey Shuangsha is waiting for me to finish using Yi Fei before making a move, the Beast Master concluded. A martial sage of the Beast Master Mansion suggested, "Beast Master, since the Bailey family can't get any information out of him, why don't we just interrogate Yi Fei and get what we want?" Interrogate? To be able to escape from Bailey Zhen's pursuit for so long, do you think that Yi Fei is useless? Furthermore, the number of talents in our Snow Wind Empire has been decreasing recently. The gap between us and the other empires has been widening. If our Snow Wind Empire doesn't produce any talents in the upcoming Heavenless Sovereign battle, the Imperial family and our Beast Master Mansion might be replaced by others. The Beast Master's expression was very serious. There were thousands of empires in the Middle State, but not all of them were static. For example, the Imperial family of the Snow Wind Empire had changed several times. This was because the number of talents in the empire had withered and could not be compared to the other empires. In the end, a stronger family or a branch of the Imperial family of the other empires would send people to replace them. With this lesson, all the empires in the Middle State placed great importance on talent. The Beast Master had always been loyal to the Imperial family. Of course, he also had some appreciation for Yi Fei. We have waited for so long. Since the Bailey family did not fall for it, then we don't have to wait anymore. Inform those brats at home and tell them to prepare. If I open the Beast Hall and they still can't get a good ranking on the Heaven list, I will personally cripple them one by one. The Beast Master stood up and finally made up his mind to open the Beast Hall. A few martial sages quickly spoke up for him. "Beast Master, don't worry. Those young masters are all dragons among men. This time, with the help of the Beast Hall, they will definitely shine brightly on the Heaven list." Chapter 926. The opening of the Beast Hall. A martial sage thought of something and said worriedly, "Beast King, I heard that you intend to let those outsiders enter the Beast Hall when it opens this time. This doesn't seem right. What if they snatch the young master's fortuitous encounter?" The Beast King sneered. "There is no what if. There are two core requirements to enter the Beast Hall. One is to be recognized by the Beast Hall and the other is to have a Beast Token. As long as they don't have a Beast Token, even if they enter, they can only move around the periphery. They can forget about entering the Real Beast Hall." He was the Beast King after all. Even if he cherished talents, His priority was still to raise the strength of the young talents in his residence. As for letting Yi Fei and the rest enter the Beast Hall, it was just to make better use of them. Only then did the martial sages relax and disperse. After a month, the housekeeper of the residence came to Yi Fei's residence again. "Young Master Yi, young Master Xia, the prince invites you in," the housekeeper shouted toward the cultivation room. There was no response from inside. After obtaining a large sum of spirit stones, Yi Fei and Xia Jun cultivated crazily. Of course, some of them were provoked by Bailey Zhen. The housekeeper couldn't help but reveal an awkward expression. He was about to call out again. Shimen Hua, who was beside him, shook his head coldly and said, "No need to call them. They should be coming out soon." Creak. The door of the first cultivation room was the first to open. Xia Jun walked out from inside, looking refreshed. His face was filled with pride and elation. "Earth-penetrating level 1? He is so trashy. How did he get the tyrannical dragon turtle to follow him?" There were 3 young men standing beside Shimen Hua. Behind them, without exception, was one of the 10 great vicious beasts. At the same time, they were also very strong. Other than Shimen Hua, who was at Earth-penetrating level 10, the others were either at Earth-penetrating level 9 or level 8. Xia Jun, who was only at Earth-penetrating level 1, was an eyesore. Originally, everyone was a guest of the residence and had to report their names when they met. When the 3 saw Xia Jun's cultivation level, they were so cold that they didn't even bother to report their names. "It's not him." Shimen Hua glanced at Xia Jun and ignored him. His expression was full of indifference, which made Xia Jun ready to explode. "Xia Jun, ignore them." Yi Fei walked out of the second cultivation room and shook his head at Xia Jun. Only then did Xia Jun give up. He also knew that he was too weak and would be at a disadvantage if he went up. Earth-penetrating 7-fold layer? When Shimen Hua saw Yi Fei's cultivation realm, he was clearly surprised. He remembered that a month ago Yi Fei was only at the earth-penetrating level 5. Only then did the 3 men's cold expressions soften a little. They were about to go up and greet Yi Fei. Yi Fei did not even look at these people and gave Xia Jun a look. He led the dragon turtle to the front. The faces of the 3 turned extremely ugly. "What an arrogant brat! Where did he come from? He's only at the earth-penetrating 7-fold layer. What's so great about him?" They had completely forgotten their attitude when Xia Jun came out. Yi Fei told Xia Jun not to cause trouble, but he would not watch Xia Jun suffer without saying anything. "Big brother, thank you." Xia Jun understood that Yi Fei had offended these 4 young experts because of him. "If I was humiliated, you would do the same. However, you have to hurry up with your cultivation. 1 billion spirit stones should be enough for you to break through to the Heavenly Grandmaster Sage realm." Yi Fei warned. "Big brother, if I was half as freakish as you, I would have broken through long ago." Xia Jun was very depressed. Actually, his breakthrough speed was already very fast. In the outer seas, it was enough to scare people to death. But in the middle ground there were countless geniuses. It made people feel that Xia Jun's breakthrough was too slow. As they chatted along the way, Yi Fei, Shimen Hua, and the rest were brought to the depths of the Wang Mansion. There was a huge training ground there. The empty ground of the training ground was filled with people. They were all disciples of the Wang Mansion dressed in luxurious clothes. There were even many disciples from other places. When they heard that the Beast Hall was open, they used all kinds of connections to let their outstanding disciples have a good opportunity to train. Of course, these people were different from the disciples of the Wang Mansion. They did not have beast tokens. The Beast King stood in the middle of the training ground with a serious expression. When he saw Yi Fei, Shimen Hua, and the rest arrive, the Beast King's expression became even more serious. "You guys came at the right time. Let your vicious beasts drip blood on the statues and lift them up. As long as you lift up 5 statues, you will receive the recognition of the Beast Hall and open the door to the Beast Hall. At this point, the Beast King added, of course, this king will not treat you unfairly. As long as you can last for an incense stick's worth of time, allowing everyone here to enter the Beast Hall, this king will make an exception and allow you guys to enter the Beast Hall to train. What? We can enter as well? Thank you, Beast King. This junior will do his best to last for an incense stick's worth of time. The Beast King's words made Shimenhua and the rest overjoyed. They originally thought that the Beast King had recruited them to use them to open the Beast Hall. Once they heard that they had a chance to enter, their enthusiasm was immediately stimulated to the extreme. Only Yi Fei kept curling his lips. He felt that the Beast King was too sinister. There were only so many treasures in the Beast Hall, but a few hundred people had already entered to divide them. By the time it was their turn, not even their bones would be left. However, it was still the same saying. When one was under someone else's roof, even if one knew that they were doing free labor and could not defeat the Beast King, they still had to do their best. Hence, Yi Fei could only get the dragon turtle to squeeze out some blood and smear it on a tall turtle statue. When the dragon turtle's blood was smeared on the statue, the entire statue suddenly emitted a desolate and ruthless aura, causing the dragon turtle to let out an agitated roar. Boom! Without needing Yi Fei's instructions, the dragon turtle seemed to understand that something in the Beast Hall was attracting it. It nimbly picked up the statue and carried it on its back. Roar! At the same time the dragon turtle lifted the statue, Shimenhua's fire dragon also did its best to lift up a tyrannical dragon statue. A golden thread silver snake came out of the body of the muscular man standing beside Shimenhua. That was one of the 10 great vicious beasts, the gold coin python. It was said that it was born with wealth and had the ability to gather treasures. After that, there was an earthquake-like sound. The third youth actually had the azure sky roar, which was known as a leviathan. It used its bare hands to lift up an ape statue with all its might. Then, the last youth had a small bird standing on his shoulder. It suddenly grew larger and turned into a 9-headed strange bird. It was the only vicious beasts among the 10 great vicious beasts. It was called the Ghost Chariot. It fed on ghosts and could even absorb souls. It was extremely strange. The Ghost Chariot stretched out its sharp claws and lifted up the 5th statue. Rumble! The 5 statues released a dazzling light at the same time. In the void, one could faintly hear the roars of vicious beasts and the cries of ferocious birds. A strange spatial tear opened up between heaven and earth. In the spatial tear, Yi Fei saw green mountains and clear water. He also saw countless ancient vicious beasts emitting a ruthless aura as they tried to rush out of the spatial tear to destroy the human race. Chapter 9:27. Beast spirits surged. The martial artists in the square were all shocked when they saw the opening of the Beast Hall with their own eyes. Yi Fei also sucked in a breath of cold air. Only now did he understand that the Beast Hall existed in a special space, and the key to opening this space was the 10 great vicious beasts. Only the 10 vicious beasts possessed the weak bloodline of the ancient demon clan. It is said that during the ancient times, the human clan was not prosperous. The ones who ruled the world were all kinds of vicious beasts. The strongest among the vicious beasts were the demon clan. The demon clan ruled the world and was not tolerated by the world. Later on, the human clan appeared. We gathered the spiritual essence of the world and created countless sorcery arts like beast seals and curses. However, the sorcery arts were not the righteous path of the world. Therefore, the sages of the human clan changed the sorcery arts to the martial arts. The upper part was the heart of the heavens and the lower part was the people. They created the sovereign martial arts. However, this doesn't mean that the demonic beast race's cultivation techniques are inferior to our human race's cultivation technique. On the contrary, Many of the demonic beast race's cultivation techniques are considered top-notch martial art. You must remember to enter the beast hall. Treasure hunting is secondary. Obtaining the cultivation techniques and inheritances inside is of utmost importance. This is the only way for you to shine in the upcoming sovereign battle of the heavens roll and show the might of our nation. You must remember this. Remember this. The Beast King's loud voice came from the square. He was not only encouraging the martial artists present, but also the top-notch experts in the Wang Mansion who had high hopes for them. They were the only ones who were given beast tokens. If there were no accidents, the most precious treasure in the Beast Hall would be obtained by them. However, the Beast King's words ignited the passion in the hearts of the young martial artists. Shine and show the might of our nation. Charge in. Kill. Kill. Get out of the way. I will definitely become famous in the upcoming sovereign battle of the heavens roll and enter the sacred institute to cultivate. The hundreds of young martial artists roared excitedly. They knew that the Beast Hall was their last chance to participate in the sovereign battle of the heavens roll. If they charged in, they would be able to shine in the imperial capital and show the might of their nation. If they failed, they would basically have no fate with the Sacred Academy. As such, the young men who were charging into the Beast Hall were all fighting with their lives on the line. Before they could even get in, many of them were already fighting one another. Many of the weaker ones were slaughtered before they could even get in. However, no one cared about these details. The path of martial arts was filled with bloodshed. Only the one who managed to kill his way out of the encirclement was worthy of the Beast Master Residence's full attention. An incense stick's worth of time quickly passed. Hundreds of warriors, other than those who had died, had basically rushed into the Beast Hall. Yi Fei turned his head and looked at the Beast King. Shimenhua asked impatiently, "Beast King, 5 minutes have passed. Can we enter now?" Of course. With a wave of his hand, the Beast King lifted the 5 statues of the vicious beasts out of thin air. Remember, even I can only hold the Beast Hall for 5 days. After 5 days, you have to come out regardless of whether you find anything. 5 days. Haha. That's enough time for me to hunt for treasures. Qing Tianhou, let's go. Gold Python, let's go too. Seeing that everyone had entered, they were already feeling anxious. Hearing the Beast King's command, they brought their respective vicious beasts and quickly charged in. Even though Yi Fei felt that the Beast King was being a little too generous, he didn't find anything wrong with it. Hence, he nodded at Xia Jun and the two of them, and the tortoise quickly charged in as well. At the same time that Yi Fei and the others left, more than 10 martial saints appeared in the plaza. They didn't say a word as they appeared beside the Beast King and helped him lift the 5 statues. After a short while, they were all sweating profusely. Obviously, it wasn't easy to open the Beast Hall. Not only did they have to obtain the Beast Hall's approval, but they also had to maintain the light door of the Beast Hall. This was a very big problem. If it wasn't for the large number of martial saints who were responsible for maintaining the light door of the Beast Hall, the Beast King would have already led a large group of martial saints into the Beast Hall and swept through it. It wouldn't have been the turn of the younger generation like Yi Fei to enter. I hope that those brats can find their own opportunities in the Beast Hall. The Beast King sighed. Don't worry, Beast King. Those who can enter are all carefully selected geniuses from the Beast King mansion. If we don't choose them for the inheritance of the Beast Hall, who else can we choose? These martial saints were very confident in their own sons and nephews. Hearing this, the Beast King felt a wave of comfort in his heart and laughed heartily. After passing through the light door, Yi Fei entered this strange space. It was only then that he realized that the vicious beasts in this space weren't real. They were terrifying vicious beasts formed by the souls of the dead ancient vicious beasts. As soon as he entered, Yi Fei saw countless cultivators fighting with all their might against these beast spirits. They wanted to break through these beast spirits and enter an ancient building on a distant mountain. Yi Fei understood that this should be where the beast hall was located. However, he didn't have the chance to go over. This was because when he entered this beast spirit space, 3 young men with ill intentions blocked his path. "What do you want? I don't think we have any grudges, right?" Xia Jun was very surprised when he saw the 3 young men. These 3 people were none other than the few young men who possessed the vicious beast. Other than Shimen Hua, who had left early, the other 3 had all chosen to block this place and wait for Yi Fei. The leader was the gloomy-looking man who possessed the gold python. He was in his early 30s. He narrowed his eyes and a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Previously, he was the one who looked down on Xia Jun because he was in the first layer of the Earth Thorough Realm. In the end, he was silently ignored by Yi Fei. This person harbored some hatred in his heart. Later on, when they were in the Beast King residence, it wasn't good for them to flare up. Later on, when they saw that there were hundreds of people entering the Beast Hall, they didn't dare to fight with the disciples of the Wang residence. Instead, they targeted Yi Fei. This was because they would only have more opportunities to search for treasures if they got rid of those who were weaker than them first. Other than Shimen Hua, who had a cold and arrogant personality, who had rejected them, the remaining 2 had long found Yi Fei's attitude of ignoring them to be an eyesore. Thus, they decided to join forces and block this place. They wanted Yi Fei to scram the moment he entered. The gloomy-looking man couldn't be bothered to speak to Xia Jun. He only stroked the venomous snake on his shoulder and said, "Kid, the treasures in the Beast Hall are limited. If you aren't strong enough, don't go in and participate. If you scram now, we can still meet each other in the future." The other 2 didn't say anything, but they were clearly emitting killing intent. In the Beast Hall, killing wasn't prohibited. They had long been unhappy that Yi Fei possessed the dragon turtle. Among the 10 great vicious beasts, the dragon turtle was the hardest to subdue. "Scram! I'll give you 3 breaths to disappear from my sight." Yi Fei's expression was very cold. He couldn't be bothered to waste time with these bullying youths. He directly took out his Imperial Saint sword. He activated the battle god Dao. Then, he released the heavenly sword art. He swung it forward fiercely. 12 sword mountains rose from the ground and divided into 3 parts. 2 of the sword mountains smashed towards the opponents, while the other 2 smashed towards the vicious beasts. Then, there were miserable screams. In the face of Yi Fei's 12 sword mountains, whether it was the 3 youths or their vicious beasts, they couldn't resist at all. Chapter 928. Forcefully entering the hall, Xia Jun's eyes widened when he saw this scene. He originally thought that he had caught up to Yi Fei after breaking through to the earth-penetrating realm. But now, it seems that not only did he not catch up, the gap between them had widened. Xia Jun sighed, "Sigh, big brother, you're getting more and more perverted. You don't even leave a path for us underlings. Cut the crap and follow me." Yi Fei carried Xia Jun and did not fight with those weak beast spirits. He directly consumed a primordial spirit and continuously moved towards the beast hall. Along the way, there were powerful beast spirits that noticed Yi Fei and tried to stop Yi Fei. But before Yi Fei could do anything, the dragon turtle behind him immediately grew in size and brutally rammed into them, killing countless beast spirits on the spot. At the same time, many strange light spots fell. Roar! The dragon turtle opened its mouth and swallowed all the light spots. At the same time, in the square, when the Beast King saw the 3 young men with the vicious beasts being chased out as soon as they entered, a trace of displeasure appeared on his face. Back then, in order to recruit these young men with the 10 great vicious beasts, the Beast King had spent a lot of effort. Of course, he did not wish for the young men he fancied to be too weak. "Go and ask them what's going on." The Beast King signaled one of the martial saints with his eyes. He still had to support the Beast Hall and did not have the time to care about these juniors. If it wasn't for the fact that these people had the 10 great vicious beasts and might need them to open the Beast Hall in the future, the Beast King would not even care about these people. What the Snow Wind Empire needs are experts, not trash. Ah, that goddamn brat, not only did he defeat us, he even threw us out of the Beast Hall. Go back, hurry up and go back. Perhaps we still have hope of obtaining the treasure. Only when they were thrown out of the Beast Hall did the 3 young men realize what had happened. Their faces were filled with anger and deep fear. Just now, Yi Fei's sword attack was really too terrifying. He was merely at the earth-penetrating 7th layer, but it gave them the illusion that they were facing a martial saint. To think that they had thought that Yi Fei might be the weakest among them. The 3 of them didn't even have time to think before they realized that they had been knocked out of the Beast Hall. They immediately got up and rushed back to the Beast Hall without caring about their injuries. To these young experts of the Central State, there was nothing more attractive to them than the heaven-ranking Supremes. As for the Beast Hall, it was the final hurdle to participate in the Heaven List Sovereign Tournament. Even though they knew it was extremely dangerous inside, they still wanted to rush in and give it a try. Bang! In the end, all 3 of them were rejected by the Beast Hall. They could only stare blankly at the door of light. Countless warriors and spirit attributes were fighting each other. Of course, they also saw Yi Fei forcefully leading Xia Jun through the door of light and finally charging towards the Beast Hall. Only now did they know that once they left the Beast Hall, they would no longer be able to enter again. The 3 of them were filled with regret. If they had known this would happen, they wouldn't have teamed up to go against Yi Fei. Now, not only had they provoked a strong enemy, they had also missed the opportunity to enter the Beast Hall. If there weren't people around them, they would have burst into tears. What's wrong with you guys? Why did you come out so quickly? At this moment, the martial saint sent by the Beast King walked over and asked. It's that young man with the dragon turtle. He severely injured us with a single sword strike and then forced us all out, the 3 of them replied with sullen faces. What did you say? That young man with the dragon turtle severely injured the 3 of you with a single sword strike? The martial saint was also dumbfounded. One had to know that the 3 of them had the 10 vicious beasts with them. Even if he was a martial saint in the first stage of the Heaven Ascension realm, it was impossible for him to defeat the 3 of them with a single move. This won't do. We have to report this to the king. The martial saint didn't have time to comfort them. After recovering from his shock, he immediately rushed towards the Beast King. When Yi Fei arrived outside the Beast Hall, he saw the huge mouth of the vicious beasts bearing its fangs. Inside the huge mouth was a pitch-black space. What was even stranger was that before they came in, there were still many people outside the Beast Hall. By the time they arrived, other than the disciples of the Beast King Mansion who had rushed in, almost all the other martial artists had left. What's going on? The Beast Hall is clearly in front of us. Why aren't they going in? Xia Jun asked, puzzled. Maybe there are some special conditions to enter the Beast Hall. Or maybe there are some unknown traps ahead, Yi Fei observed cautiously. Xia Jun smiled and said, We have the dragon turtle. Why are we afraid of traps? We can just throw the dragon turtle in to scout the way. Anyway, it's very tough. Even if there are traps, it won't. Dragon turtle, I'm your father, bang. Xia Jun's joy turned to sorrow. He wanted to use the dragon turtle to scout the way, but the dragon turtle suddenly kicked him away. He flew towards the entrance of the cave. Just as Xia Jun approached the Beast Hall, the entire Beast Hall shone brightly. Countless rays of light pierced through the void like sharp blades and stabbed towards Xia Jun, heavenly blade art. Xia Jun shouted in a panic. He activated the heavenly blade art that he had just learned and formed an energy blade to protect himself. However, the rays of light were too terrifying. They instantly shattered the energy blade and slashed towards Xia Jun, Big brother, save me. Xia Jun panicked and hurriedly asked Yi Fei for help. Yi Fei frowned and rushed forward. He grabbed Xia Jun and was about to retreat. Rumble! The entrance of the beast hall immediately spewed out a destructive beam of light. It was trying to kill both Yi Fei and Xia Jun. At this moment, a tall figure jumped in front of them with unparalleled strength. The dragon turtle reverted to its mountain-sized body and blocked the entrance of the beast hall. However, the restrictions of the beast hall were simply too terrifying. Even with the dragon turtle blocking in front, there was still a boundless amount of energy that formed a hurricane. The hurricane blew against the dragon turtle's massive body, causing it to continuously retreat, leaving behind deep ravines in the ground. The beast hall's restrictions are so terrifying? How did the disciples of the Wang clan get in? Xia Jun was very shocked. Yi Fei shook his head coldly and said, "They probably have some treasure that allows them to safely pass through the beast hall's restrictions. If that's the case, we can only hunt beast spirits outside. We can't even get a single treasure from the beast hall. The beast king is too despicable," Xia Jun cursed unhappily. Yi Fei was also a little unhappy. He had long suspected that the beast king was too generous. It wasn't easy to get a beast hall, but he allowed outsiders to enter as they pleased. Now it seemed that the beast king still had a trick up his sleeve. "However, if you want to stop me from entering the beast hall just like this, you're underestimating me." It wasn't Yi Fei's style to not think of ways to seize the treasures in the beast hall even though he knew that there were treasures inside. Yi Fei carefully sized up the beast hall. His gaze hardened and he decided to try again. "Xia Jun, stay outside for the time being. Be careful not to get into a conflict with others. Dragon turtle, shrink back to the size of a shield." Roar. The dragon turtle looked at Yi Fei suspiciously, but it still shrank back to the size of a round table and lay on the ground. Then, under Xia Jun's extraterrestrial gaze, Yi Fei actually carried the dragon turtle and walked step by step towards the entrance of the beast hall. Boom! Without the beast tablet, Yi Fei immediately triggered the beast hall's restrictions. Countless rays of light formed into sharp spears and stabbed towards Yi Fei. "Dragon turtle, block for me." Yi Fei didn't hesitate. He used the dragon turtle as a shield and blocked in front of him. At the same time, he activated the war demon's golden body. Like a powerful war demon, he held the shield and faced the endless rays of light and spears as he strode into the beast hall. Chapter 929. He smashed his way in. Damn, is that even possible? Does Big Brother want the treasures more than his life? The surrounding cultivators who were fighting with the spirit beasts, as well as Xia Jun, widened their eyes in shock. At the same time, they were secretly impressed by Yi Fei's fearless spirit. One must know that this was a restriction set up by the ancient demon clan. If it could be broken so easily, the Beast King would not have been so generous as to let so many people in at once. When they realized that there was a restriction in the Beast Hall, apart from the disciples of the prince's residence who had the Beast Token, almost everyone gave up on the chance to enter the Beast Hall. This person's effort is futile. The light spear is only the first restriction. He will soon trigger the second restriction. Those who had experienced it earlier shook their heads when they saw Yi Fei's actions. Following his words, the entire Beast Hall shook again. Boundless demon chi turned into a demon wind that spun wildly. The wind was extremely sharp and was as sharp as swords. It let out a buzzing sound. Yi Fei quickly used all his strength to use the dragon turtle as a shield. He pinned the dragon turtle to the ground to block the attack of the demon wind. However, the terrifying thing was that the demon wind seemed to have intelligence. It actually went around the dragon turtle and directly blew towards Yi Fei. Yi Fei's expression changed instantly. He finally understood that the restriction in the Beast Hall was only targeted at cultivators. It was not harmful to vicious beasts like the dragon turtle. It made sense when he thought about it. The function of the beast hall was probably prepared by the demon clan to deal with vicious beasts. The restriction here naturally would not harm the dragon turtle. On the other hand, Yi Fei suddenly felt a sense of death when the demon wind blew. Without hesitation, he immediately deactivated his golden body. At the same time, a layer of purple-gold light exploded from Yi Fei's body. Purple-gold Tai Chi. Rumble! Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The endless demon wind surrounded Yi Fei. Then, terrifying lightning as thick as an arm formed chains that tried to bind Yi Fei. Fortunately, Yi Fei used the purple-gold Tai Chi in time. At the same time, his God of War Dao had reached the 4th level, which increased the defense of the purple-gold Tai Chi. These lightning bolts struck down wildly. They were all deflected by Yi Fei's purple-gold Tai Chi and exploded around Yi Fei's body. Taking advantage of this time, Yi Fei roared and once again lifted the dragon turtle from the ground. He used it as a shield in front of him, blocking the bone-piercing power of the demonic wind and the destructive power of the lightning. They were getting closer to the beast hall. 100 steps, 200 steps, 300 steps, 300 steps. Open. Boom! Yi Fei suddenly lifted the dragon turtle as if he was lifting a huge meteorite. The dragon turtle also understood Yi Fei's intention. It suddenly became extremely huge and was lifted up by Yi Fei with brute force. In the eyes of outsiders, this scene was like Yi Fei lifting a huge mountain with his bare hands and smashing it forward. No matter how sturdy the beast hall was, it couldn't withstand Yi Fei's barbaric destruction. Yi Fei smashed a huge hole in the beast hall. Yi Fei grabbed the dragon turtle's tail and used the momentum to smash it into the beast hall. The wind blew gently. It was completely silent. Even the hundreds of young practitioners who were fighting with the beast spirits stood in their original spots in a daze, looking at this scene in disbelief. In that moment of distraction, many of them were seized by the beast spirits and lost their lives. Everyone then regained their senses. In an instant there were curses, screams, and all kinds of sounds. Xia Jun was completely speechless. He really couldn't find the right words to describe Yi Fei's craziness. It was as if a bandit had used a brick to forcefully break open the treasury of the imperial palace. The warriors outside were all shocked. There were even people who immediately left the beast hall to report this matter to the beast king. After all, those who could enter the beast hall were all members of the royal family. For Yi Fei to suddenly barge in was something no one had expected. Outside the beast hall, the beast king and a group of martial sages were still working hard to lift the statues and support the light door of the beast hall. When he heard that Yi Fei had defeated 3 people with a single strike, he didn't really care. After all, Yi Fei could make the dragon turtle follow him and make Bailey Jin spend a lot of effort to kill him. If he didn't have this ability, the Beast King would be suspicious. However, the Beast King would never have thought that Yi Fei would use such a barbaric and shameless method to forcefully smash the dragon turtle into the beast hall. When the messenger told the Beast King this news, the Beast King was so shocked that he almost threw the 5 vicious beasts statues he was lifting out of the beast hall. "What did you say?" That brat used the dragon turtle as a shield and forcefully smashed it into the beast hall. Even the restrictions of the beast hall can't do anything to him? If it weren't for the fact that he still had to lift the beast hall, the Beast King would have been so angry that he wanted to beat someone up. His original intention was to make use of Yi Fei. He didn't really intend to let Yi Fei enter the beast hall to obtain the treasures. The Beast King would never have thought that Yi Fei would be so daring. He clearly knew that the Beast King residents didn't want him to enter, but he still used the dragon turtle and smashed it all the way in. If it were any other warrior, they wouldn't be able to accomplish this feat. This was also why the Beast King was so depressed. He could only blame the dragon turtle for being too disgusting and too hard. The dragon turtle's defense and Yi Fei's brute force couldn't even stop the restrictions set up by the ancient demon clan. This was a true barbarian. The Beast King wasn't the only one who was depressed. After hearing this news, all the martial sages present were shocked and speechless. In the end, it was an experienced martial sage who reminded the Beast King, "Beast King, this matter is going to be difficult. Originally, the Beast Hall only had members of the royal family. If Yi Fei enters and fights with them for the treasures, Beast King, why don't I go in and kill that brat?" Another gloomy martial sage asked. He was immediately scolded. Bullsh*t. We only have 10 martial sages. Supporting the light door is already our limit. If you leave and the light door collapses, are you going to let everyone inside die? After scolding that martial sage, the Beast King suddenly laughed out loud. He had a strange expression on his face as he said, "Not bad, not bad. Yi Fei is quite capable. I thought that he could escape from the pursuit of the dragon turtle. Now it seems that he is really capable. What do you all say? Why don't I let him join the Beast King residence and become my son-in-law?" What? Son-in-law? Beast King, you only have a son. You don't have a suitable daughter to marry him. The martial sages were shocked. When the Beast King heard this, he said angrily, "Bullshit! Who says I don't have a daughter? Isn't seventh sister still unbetrothed? So many people have come knocking on the door of my Beast King residence, but I can't bear to marry her off. I'm waiting for a talented young man like Yi Fei to become my son-in-law." "But your highness, seventh young mistress is only 7 years old." The martial sages reminded him bitterly. They felt that the Beast King was too unscrupulous in order to recruit Yi Fei. The Beast King spoke eloquently and arbitrarily. "So what if she's only 7 years old? Even if my daughter is only 7 years old, she's still a beautiful flower. He's lucky to be able to marry that brat. This matter is decided. Make preparations immediately. When that brat comes out, let him marry into our family immediately. He'll be my son-in-law." All the martial sages were speechless. Chapter 930. Little Fatty. The interior of the Beast Hall was also filled with statues. However, along the way, many of the statues were destroyed and turned into piles of debris. Yi Fei understood that these statues must have been destroyed by the disciples of the royal residences who had entered earlier. They actually destroyed the statues. There must be something special about these statues. It's a pity that I entered too late and the treasures were all taken by the people in front. He had to speed up. Yi Fei glanced at the dragon turtle. After entering the Beast Hall, the dragon turtle's gaze was unusually sharp. It couldn't speak, but from its gaze, Yi Fei understood that this Beast Hall was very attractive to the dragon turtle. The man and the dragon turtle sped up and walked in the Beast Hall. Along the way, Yi Fei also discovered many murals on the walls of the Beast Hall. They weren't man-made, but were carved by the vicious beasts using their sharp claws. They were filled with the uncanny workmanship of nature. The vicious beasts painted, "The glory of all races." This was the glory of the ancient times and also the glory of the demon race. However, no matter how glorious the demon race was, there would be a time when it declined. The demon race gave birth to too many heaven-defying experts and finally surpassed the limits of the heavenly Tao. Later on, gods descended from the heavens and annihilated the demons. Just like that, the glorious demon race declined rapidly, leaving only the weak ferocious beasts to walk the earth. However, these ferocious beasts blamed the decline of the demon race on the human race and began to massacre the ancestors of the human race. Our ancestors fought back. In countless battles, they fused with their beast marks and evolved the shaman Tao and the martial Tao. They gradually defeated the vicious beasts and gradually replaced the demon race and vicious beasts to control this world. As Yi Fei walked, he looked at the murals along the way. These vicious beasts used the murals to tell Yi Fei about the secrets of the ancient times. It's a pity that the disciples who entered the Beast Hall are only focused on finding treasures. They don't have the time to care about the rise and fall of these ancient races. However, Dragon Turtle, you must remember that you are one of the 10 great vicious beasts. You have also merged with the heart of the demon dragon. In the future, you might have the chance to transform into a demon and become a new demon. Yi Fei said to the dragon turtle beside him. The dragon turtle nodded and roared at Yi Fei. Its gaze also became resolute. These words ignited the dragon turtle's fighting spirit. In the past, the dragon turtle had always wanted to transform into a divine beast. However, after entering the beast hall and seeing the past glory of the Fey race, the dragon turtle suddenly had the urge to transform into a Fey. Yi Fei looked at the murals and felt a surge of emotions. Although he did not obtain any treasures, he understood the murals. He understood how glorious the ancient Fey race was in the past. To be able to attract a divine being from the heavens, the Fey race must be very powerful. If I can obtain a few treasures from the Fey race, it will definitely increase my strength greatly. Yi Fei thought to himself. He was not in a hurry to search for treasures. Not only did the murals depict the rise and fall of the Fey race in the ancient times, they also revealed some information about the Beast Hall. The Beast Hall has a total of 12 floors. Every floor that I advance to is guarded by a beast spirit of an ancient Fey. Even if I entered later than the disciples, I still have a chance to obtain the treasures in the Beast Hall. Yi Fei understood this point and was not in a hurry. Outside the Beast Hall, the Beast King made use of him. This time, Yi Fei might as well make use of the disciples here to help him clear the lower floors of the Beast Hall in advance. This way, he would be able to conserve his chi to deal with the final 12th floor of the Beast Hall. With a large group of disciples leading the way, Yi Fei quickly advanced from the first floor of the Beast Hall to the 7th floor. When he was on the 7th floor, Yi Fei suddenly heard a cry for help. It was a little fatty wearing an embroidered robe. He was tied to a stone pillar and his mouth was stuffed with a rag. Unable to make a sound, the little fatty could only struggle with all his might when he saw Yi Fei coming over. He even blinked his eyes at Yi Fei and nodded his head to the ground. Yi Fei often communicated with Xiao Chao through hand gestures, so he instantly understood what the little fatty was trying to say. He doesn't want me to go over. Could there be some danger on the ground? Yi Fei began to look carefully at the ground. As for the dragon turtle, it roared and took a tentative step forward. It was this step that caused the ground to suddenly crack. A tiger-headed statue rushed out from the ground and roared as it attacked the dragon turtle. I see. These statues in the Beast Hall are all monster puppets that guard the Beast Hall. The little fatty doesn't want me to go over because he knows there are monsters below. It seems like he has a good heart. Yi Fei began to be curious about the little fatty. Since he was wearing an embroidered robe, it was very likely that he was a direct descendant of the Beast King. Yet, he was tied up here. This was a bit strange. While the dragon turtle was fighting the monster puppet, Yi Fei walked over to the little fatty's side and broke the chains on his body. He said, "Little fatty, who did you offend to tie you up here and even use a monster to watch over you?" The little fatty struggled with all his might and waved his hand at Yi Fei who was approaching him. He said, "Don't come near me. I am the jinx of the prince's mansion. Anyone who comes near me will be as unlucky as me." Jinx? I don't believe it. Yi Fei shook his head. He was a person abandoned by the heavens. He didn't believe that there would be someone more unlucky than him. Yi Fei immediately walked over and broke all the remaining chains on the little fatty's body. The little fatty's face immediately turned pale. He said with a sobbing tone, "Brother, you can't come near me. Hurry and leave before anyone notices. Otherwise, if the other brothers see that you let me go, they will bully you as well. I don't want to implicate you. I don't want to be a jinx." "Why? Did your brothers tie you up here? How did you offend them?" Yi Fei asked curiously. At the same time, he could tell that the little fatty's brain wasn't working well. He was clearly not from the prince's mansion, but the little fatty actually treated him as a disciple of the prince's mansion. The little fatty seemed to know what Yi Fei was thinking. He suddenly said angrily, "Brother, I, Pang Bei, may not be very smart, but what I said is true. My brothers said that if anyone in the prince's mansion dares to be close to me, they will beat them up every time they see them. Hurry and tie me up. Otherwise, if they find out that you were the one who let me go, they will beat you up too. Damn, beat them up every time they see them. It looks like the internal strife in the Beast Master Mansion is quite intense." Yi Fei shook his head. He didn't want to care about these things. He turned around and quickly left with the dragon turtle. As for the tiger head statue, it had long been smashed into pieces by the dragon turtle. At the same time, an ancient vicious beast's inner core rolled to the dragon turtle's feet and was swallowed by it. Yi Fei immediately felt that the dragon turtle's aura had become much stronger after swallowing the inner core. He muttered to himself in surprise, "It looks like these are the elixirs refined by the demon race. No wonder the disciples of the prince's mansion kept breaking these statues. Their goal was to obtain these inner cores." Looking at the 7th floor, Yi Fei realized that there were no more statues. He lifted his foot and was about to enter the 8th floor of the Beast Hall. At this moment, the little fatty suddenly ran over anxiously and pulled Yi Fei with all his strength, saying, "Brother, you can't enter the 8th floor. There are many bad people in there. If they find out that you were the one who let me go, they will definitely beat you up." Chapter 931. Demon Soul, don't worry. As long as I don't say anything, they won't know that I was the one who let you go. Yi Fei could only comfort the little fatty like this, and then tried to push him away. He tried to push him, but he didn't budge. The little fatty was very stubborn. He grabbed Yi Fei's hands tightly and insisted, "Brother, hurry up and tie me up. I really don't want to implicate you. They all say that I'm the jinx of the Wangfu. My existence is a disgrace to the Wangfu. Whoa. Perhaps it had been too long since he met someone who treated him as well as Yi Fei." As the little fatty spoke, he suddenly hugged Yi Fei and cried bitterly. His tears and snot splattered everywhere. Yi Fei was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. He hurriedly used all his strength to push the clingy little fatty away. At the same time, his heart was filled with shock. This little fatty was clearly only a 10th level martial king, but his strength was shockingly great. Even with his physical body, he couldn't withstand the little fatty's strength. Even if the little fatty wasn't smart, he wouldn't be in such a miserable state in the Wangfu. Yi Fei started to become a little interested in the little fatty. He asked, "Little fatty, why do you say that you're a jinx? Your brothers bully you like this. Does the Beast King not care? I also don't know why I'm a jinx, but those brothers take care of me in front of father. As long as father isn't around, they will call me a jinx and often beat me. Brother, what did I do wrong? Why must they beat me?" The little fatty's face was filled with grievance. Yi Fei didn't know how to comfort the little fatty. Pang Bei's experience also reminded Yi Fei of the painful days when his Dantian was destroyed in Black Rock City. His situation was different from Pang Bei's, but their experiences were shockingly similar. He couldn't help but feel some sympathy for the little fatty. Yi Fei said to the little fatty seriously, "If you don't want to be bullied, then work hard in cultivation. Only by becoming stronger can you protect yourself and your loved ones." The little fatty was still sobbing as he said, "Elder brother, I also want to become stronger, but there's no other way. I'm too stupid. Father said that unless I enter the Beast Hall and obtain the legendary demonic soul, I'll never be able to break through and become an expert." Only then did Yi Fei remember that the Martial King realm could be improved with resources. However, the 12th level Martial Saint required condensing the primordial spirit. Pang Bei's brain was clearly not working well. It was indeed difficult for him to comprehend the saintly way and condense his primordial spirit. Little Fatty didn't care if Yi Fei understood or not, and continued to chatter on and on. Father once said that the demonic soul would allow me to condense my primordial spirit, and allow me to possess the force of martial arts without comprehending it. Thus, he went all out to find the Beast Hall in hopes that I would be able to find the demonic soul there so that I could become smarter. But those elder brothers are too strange. The little fatty suddenly felt indignant. He clenched his teeth and said, "They promised Father that they would help me find the demon soul. But not long after they came in, they coaxed me to help them sense the location of the demon soul. They tied me up here, saying that I'm a jinx unworthy of the demon soul. Elder brother, I didn't offend them. I didn't fight back when they beat me or scolded me. Why are they doing this to me?" As he spoke, bean-sized tears fell again. The little fatty didn't say anything else. He pounced towards Yi Fei, looking like he was about to cry. Luckily, Yi Fei was prepared. He quickly pushed the dragon turtle in front of him. At the same time, he was shocked by the information the little fatty had revealed. The demon soul can obtain the power of the martial Tao. Could it be that the demon soul was the same as the sacred bone of a martial saint, able to forcefully comprehend the power of the martial Tao? The little fatty was too stupid. He couldn't comprehend it. As for Yi Fei, he was abandoned by the heavens. He couldn't comprehend it. But they had one thing in common. They needed to use external objects to increase their power of the martial Tao. Suddenly, Yi Fei had a shocking idea. "I don't lack spirit stones for cultivation. The only thing I lack is the sacred bone to increase my power of the martial Tao. But with Bai Lizhen hunting me down, I can't buy the sacred bone from the Merchant Union and Xinluo Hall. If the demon soul has the same effect as the sacred bone, this is a chance for me to increase my strength." Thinking of this, Yi Fei quickly pulled up the little fatty who was still crying on the dragon turtle's back. "Pang Bei, don't cry. Let me ask you, can you really sense the location of the demon soul in the Beast Hall?" "Of course. Elder brother, don't think that I'm stupid. I used to be very smart. Unfortunately, I accidentally drank a bowl of demon blood. That's why I became like this." Yi Fei sweated when he heard this. He even dared to drink demon blood casually. This Pang Bei was probably a glutton. "Alright, as long as you can sense the location of the demon soul. If your brothers won't help you, I'll help you. But after you find the demon soul, I want half of it." Yi Fei proposed a condition. The little fatty was frightened. He waved his hand repeatedly. "No, I don't want half. Half is too much. I only want one." Seeing Yi Fei's expression turn ugly, the little fatty lowered his voice and said with a tearful face, "Half. Elder brother, just give me half of the demon soul." Seeing the little fatty's frightened expression, Yi Fei was instantly speechless. How badly had this guy been bullied in the prince's residence for him to make such a low request? "Let's do half." "Now tell me the location and I'll bring you to find the demon soul," Yi Fei said in a deep voice. Seeing the little fatty like this, he took it as a good thing. "Elder brother, you're really a good person. Other than father, you're the one who treats me the best." The little fatty was so touched that he immediately pointed to the highest floor of the Beast Hall and said, "The demon soul is on the 12th floor. But my brothers have already rushed there. If we go now, will we be able to make it in time?" "Of course we'll make it in time." Yi Fei's eyes lit up. Since he knew that there was a demon soul here, he didn't want to waste any more time. He immediately nodded at the dragon turtle and quickly brought the little fatty to the 8th floor. On the 8th floor of the Beast Hall, the figures of the prince's disciples finally appeared. They were fighting with the monsters inside. The levels of the monsters here were obviously higher than those on the 7th floor. All of them were absolute land realm demon beast statues. Of course, the absolute land realm demon beasts from the ancient times were much stronger than the ones now. Other than little fatty, all the disciples of the prince's residence were at the earth-penetrating realm. Therefore, the earth-penetrating first-level demonic beast statue could definitely defeat 10 disciples of the prince's residence, who were at the earth-penetrating first level. This is the power of the ancient, vicious beasts. Yi Fei was also shocked when he saw a few dozen prince's disciples besieging a demon beast statue. Dragon Turtle, lead the way. Yi Fei didn't want to waste time on the 8th floor. He immediately ordered the Dragon Turtle to rush to the front, wanting to pass through the 8th floor quickly. The strength of the monsters in the Beast Hall also ignited the Dragon Turtle's strong fighting spirit. The Dragon Turtle quickly rushed to the front and spat out dragon flames. It quickly destroyed all the demon beast statues near it. Yi Fei, on the other hand, followed behind unhurriedly with Little Fatty. Along the way, he picked up some ancient beast cores and tossed them to Little Fatty, saying, "Little Fatty, take these. At the very least, they can increase your strength a little." "Thank you, elder brother." The Little Fatty beamed. He felt that Yi Fei was really treating him too well. He immediately ate the inner cores of the ancient vicious beasts like he was eating melon seeds. After eating all the inner cores, Yi Fei suddenly felt that the Little Fatty's strength seemed to have increased by a lot. He even left deep footprints on the ground. Chapter 932. To push through 10 floors. Yi Fei didn't know what to say. He gave the inner cores to Little Fatty in hopes that he could find someone to refine the demonic aura inside before consuming them. However, Little Fatty's performance was truly shocking. He even dared to consume the demonic aura and seemed to be enjoying it. That's right, he was enjoying it. Even the Dragon Turtle couldn't understand this. If it wasn't for the fact that the surrounding princes didn't look shocked when they saw Little Fatty, Yi Fei would have suspected that Little Fatty was some kind of vicious beasts in human form. "It's that Jinx from our prince's residence. Didn't the princes say that this Jinx died on the 7th level? How is he still alive and even made it to the 8th level? Who is that person? He doesn't seem to be from our prince's residence." Many people also noticed Yi Fei. After all, Yi Fei was very eye-catching with the Dragon Turtle. These princes quickly recognized Yi Fei's identity. Many of their faces were filled with anger. One must know that before they entered the Beast Hall, they were informed that only the members of the King Manor were allowed to enter. Putting aside the fact that Yi Fei was an outsider, he was even together with the most disliked Jinx in the King Manor. Many of the members of the King Manor couldn't stand it anymore. These disciples of the prince's mansion simply stopped fighting with the demonic beast statues. In an instant, dozens of people surrounded them, aggressively questioning them. "Jinx, aren't you dead? Who asked you to come back to life? You're a disgrace to our prince's residence with your stupidity. And you don't seem to be from our prince's residence. Who allowed you to enter the Beast Hall? How dare you be with the Jinx?" Before he could finish, Little Fatty was scolded into silence. However, when he heard that someone was scolding Yi Fei, it was as if a barrel of dynamite had been ignited. "Shut up! You can scold me, but you're not allowed to scold my elder brother." Rumble! The ground of the entire Beast Hall was shaking. Little Fatty took a step forward and suddenly pushed that person. The disciple who was cursing Yi Fei earlier screamed as he was pushed to the ground. He flipped over a dozen times and his face was swollen from the fall. The other disciples of the prince's mansion were also shocked. No one would have thought that the prince's mansion's most famous Jinx would get angry and hit someone. After recovering from their shock, these people started cursing. "Jinx, are you trying to overturn the heavens? Why don't you take a look at who you are? You're just a piece of trash from our Wang mansion. How dare you be fierce to us?" "Mimi?" The Little Fatty was furious. He didn't understand what he had just done. When he heard the familiar scolding, he was so scared that he didn't know what to do. He quickly apologized to the person he had pushed out. "Brother, I'm sorry. I didn't know what happened just now." "Shut up, Jinx. Who cares about your apology? Now, kneel on the ground and roll 100 times for me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The person rose from the ground. He was both embarrassed and furious. He had been defeated by the most useless jinx of the prince's mansion. If he didn't get back at him, how could he raise his head in the future? Although the little fatty felt extremely humiliated, he was used to being bullied, thus he didn't know how to resist. His knees gradually bent, as if he was going to follow the person's order. At that instant, a hand grabbed his shoulder firmly. Pang Bei, remember this. A man's kneel is as heavy as a mountain. We can kneel, but we must understand why we are kneeling. But if I don't kneel, what should I do? I can't defeat them. The little fatty blushed and said, Who says you can't defeat them? Didn't you just beat a dog with ease? Yi Fei's heart skipped a beat after witnessing the scene. A 10th-layer Martial Emperor Realm Cultivator was able to defeat an opponent with a cultivation of the 1st-layer Ground Penetrating Realm. The little fatty's strength was insane. What did you say? Kid, you're only a guest of the prince's mansion. The disciples of the prince's mansion are your masters. How dare you offend us? The disciples of the prince's mansion were infuriated after hearing Yi Fei's disrespect. Without giving Yi Fei any chance to explain himself, the disciples of the prince's mansion immediately charged toward Yi Fei. Beat him to death. Let this slave know how to talk to us. Humph, he dares to be with the jinx. Killing him is already too easy for him. Roar. The dragon tortoise suddenly let out a furious roar as its body returned to the size of a mountain, before it charged toward the disciples without mercy. Bang! Cries of agony could be heard as the disciples of the prince's mansion were unable to withstand the impact of the dragon tortoise. They fell to the ground while vomiting blood. Their internal organs and bones were shattered from the impact. Little fatty, take a closer look. This is pure strength. Sometimes, brute force is the greatest destructive force. Dragon tortoise, continue forward. We will push all the way to the 12th floor. Yi Fei calmly ordered the dragon tortoise. Roar. The dragon tortoise let out a vigorous dragon roar as it opened its mouth and spewed out terrifying dragon flames. In an instant, all the monsters in its way were killed. Yi Fei placed his hands behind his back as he followed behind the dragon tortoise at a moderate pace. He couldn't be bothered to deal with the monsters in the beast hall. He only had one target, and that was the demon souls on the 12th floor of the beast hall. Little fatty stared blankly at the scene before him. Although he wasn't very smart, he knew that the dragon tortoise had used pure brute force just like him. However, in his opinion, the most useless brute force had instantly caused his brothers to be severely injured. In his daze, little fatty suddenly felt something stirring in his heart. Brother, wait for me. I want to be with you. I want to become stronger. I, Pang Bei, am not a jinx. I want to become as strong as this tortoise. Rumble. When Pang Bei ran, the ground shook. It was exactly the same as the movement of the vicious beast. On the 9th floor of the beast hall, when the disciples of the Wang residence who were searching for treasures saw the famous jinx of the Wang residence run in together with the dragon tortoise, they were all stunned. This time, before they could react, the dragon tortoise's massive body and Pang Bei took a step forward and crashed into them. Jinx, how dare you crash into us? Where did this dragon tortoise come from? Didn't they say that other than the disciples of the Wang residence, outsiders are not allowed to enter the beast hall? The disciples of the Wang residence on the 9th floor watched in shock as the man and tortoise cleared the path in front of them. They ignored all obstacles and passed through the 9th floor in the blink of an eye. Similarly, the disciples of the Wang residence on the 10th floor had received the news in advance. When they saw Yi Fei enter, they immediately unleashed a shocking murderous aura. Quick, stop that jinx! Insolent servant, how dare you barge into the beast hall? This is a capital offense. Those who could enter the 10th floor were the true elites of the Wang residence. Yi Fei understood that with the dragon tortoise's pure brute force, It would take some effort to deal with them. Yi Fei didn't want to waste any time. Heaven's sword art. Yi Fei touched his spatial belt and grasped the Imperial Saint's sword tightly in his hand. He instantly activated the Azura power and activated the Heaven's sword art. Sword Aura Mountain. A total of 12 sword mountains rose from the ground and pressed down. In the blink of an eye, the dozen or so elites of the Wang residence who rushed over were all seriously injured and vomited blood. They couldn't withstand the pressure of the sword mountains and fell to the ground. Chapter 933. The Three Prodigies of the Prince's Mansion. What did you say? That Yi Fei and that Jinx Pang Bei have already passed through 10 levels and are about to enter the 11th level of the Beast Hall? Although the disciples of the Prince's Mansion couldn't stop Yi Fei and the Dragon Turtle, they still sent the news to the 11th level as fast as they could while Yi Fei was passing through the levels. There were only 3 people on the 11th level of the Beast Hall. They were the 3 most outstanding sons of the Beast King. The Beast King had a total of 6 sons. Apart from little fatty Pang Bei, there were 2 others. Because they were too old and had ordinary aptitudes, they had already entered the Empire. The remaining 3 sons, Pang Feng, Pang Long and Pang Hu, were all outstanding individuals. The 3 of them were known as the 3 prodigies of the Prince's Mansion. Even in the imperial capital, the 3 of them were extremely famous and could definitely be ranked in the top 20. The 3 of them were determined to win the Sky List Supreme battle. However, they didn't know what the Beast King was thinking. When Pang Feng and the other 2 entered the Beast Hall, he actually allowed Pang Bei to participate as well. He even told them to take good care of Pang Bei and help him find his demon soul and condense his primordial spirit at all costs. Although Pang Feng and the other 2 agreed on the surface, their hearts were already filled with endless anger. Little Fatty might not be smart, but his talent was actually the strongest in the Beast King's mansion. The Beast King had said more than once that if he could help Pang Bei become a martial arts genius, he would be willing to give up the entire Beast King's mansion. It was also this sentence that made Pang Feng and the other 2 jealous. After all, there was only one Beast King's position. If Pang Bei became stronger, then the Beast King's position would basically have nothing to do with them. How could the 3 prodigies of the Prince's Mansion be willing to accept this? Therefore, the 3 of them thought of a vicious plan. They pretended to let the other people of the Prince's Mansion walk in front while they walked behind Pang Bei. In the end, when they reached the 7th level of the Beast Hall, they tied Pang Bei to a stone pillar and waited for the monster below to awaken so that they could get rid of their useless 6th brother. Little Fatty was really lucky. Before the monsters on the 7th floor came out, Yi Fei had arrived first and saved Little Fatty's life. Damn it! 3rd brother, I told you long ago that we should have killed that Jinx with our own hands on the 7th floor. But you just had to care about brotherly affection and left him there to die. Look what happened now. Not only did that Jinx not die, he even relied on an outsider to kill his way all the way to the 11th level. The 5th brother, Pang Hu, was the most impatient and couldn't refrain from grumbling furiously. 3rd brother Pang Feng coldly glanced at Pang Hu and coldly said, "5th brother, are you blaming me? Don't forget how much Royal Father values that retard. No matter how good our disguise is, if we kill him with our own hands and Royal Father asks about it, do you think we can get past that psychological barrier? Alright, 3rd brother, 5th brother, stop arguing. Let's think about how to deal with the aftermath. 6th brother's brain isn't very good, but he's not stupid. If he tells others that we harmed him, Royal Father definitely won't forgive us," Pang Long said worriedly. Pang Feng and Pang Hu looked at each other and their expressions became extremely gloomy. In the end, Pang Feng spoke up and made up his mind. 6th brother is just a good-for-nothing. Even if he knows that we want to harm him, as long as we scare him a few times, he definitely won't dare to tell others about it. The key is still that Yi Fei, third brother's words are correct. That Jinx was lucky this time. What we need to do now is to kill that Yi Fei to silence him, then think of a way to deal with that Jinx. Pang Hu nodded in agreement with Pang Feng's suggestion. Pang Long originally supported Pang Feng. He also had a part in framing Little Fatty, so he naturally wouldn't oppose Pang Feng and Pang Hu's plan. The three heroes of the prince's mansion finished their discussion. Roar. The dragon turtle led Yi Fei and Little Fatty all the way from the 10th floor to the 11th floor. However, there wasn't a single monster on the 11th floor. They were all swept clean by the three heroes of the prince's mansion. When they saw Yi Fei and Little Fatty enter, Pang Feng and the other two's expressions became extremely ugly. Pang Long took the initiative and blocked the passage between the 10th and 11th floor. Pang Feng and Pang Hu angrily pointed at Yi Fei and shouted, "Yi Fei, you sure have guts. Not only did you barge into the Beast Hall without permission, you even dared to kidnap our sixth brother. Hurry up and hand him over to us, and we can still let you live." "Hand him over to you? You can ask Little Fatty yourself if he's willing to go with you," Yi Fei coldly said, allowing Pang Long to block the entrance. In any case, the treasures were limited. Even if the three of them didn't deal with him, he wouldn't let them off so easily. When Pang Hu heard this, he thought that Yi Fei had been intimidated. He coldly smiled and waved at Little Fatty. "Sixth brother, hurry up and come over to our side. We were just joking with you." "No, I won't go over. You guys aren't my brothers. You all want to kill me. Brother, you have to help me." Little Fatty was instinctively afraid of the three heroes of the prince's mansion. He quickly hid behind Yi Fei. Pang Feng and the other two's expressions immediately changed. What they were worried about had happened. Little Fatty actually told Yi Fei about this matter. "Sixth brother, you misunderstood. We don't want to harm you. We were just worried about you, so we let you stay on the 7th floor temporarily. When we find the demon soul, we will naturally come and get you." Pang Feng still wasn't willing to give up. He wanted to trick Little Fatty to come over. This way they could attack Yi Fei without any worries. Pang Long and Pang Hu chimed in from the side. "Sixth brother, you have always been a weakling. It's hard to avoid being tricked by scoundrels." Before they could finish speaking, Little Fatty roared angrily, "All of you, shut up! I, Pang Bei, may not be smart, but I'm not a weakling. When we get out, I will definitely tell father about how you guys bullied me." "What? Tell father?" Pang Hu and Pang Long jumped in fright. They suddenly felt that the current Little Fatty was a little different from the Little Fatty of the past. This good-for-nothing, not only was he not afraid of them, he even dared to roar at them? Third brother? Pang Hu's eyes were the first to reveal an ominous glint. Among the three brothers, he looked down on Little Fatty the most. Because Little Fatty's brain wasn't good, when people mentioned the three heroes of the prince's mansion, they would also mention Little Fatty. This made Pang Hu very angry. Pang Feng understood Pang Hu's meaning. The hesitation in his heart finally became firm after seeing Little Fatty's change. He nodded forcefully, and his eyes also revealed an ominous glint. "Sigh, sixth brother, if you had been an honest good-for-nothing, we could have still given you a way out. Since you no longer listen to us, then we can only let you go to the Western Paradise with this kid." Pang Long shed a drop of fake tears. Little Fatty was scared out of his wit. He looked at Yi Fei with a sullen face and said, "Elder brother, I already said that I'm a jinx and told you not to be with me. Now it's bad. Not only do they want to kill me, they want to kill you too. That depends on whether they have the ability to do so. Unfortunately, the Beast King is considered a dragon among men, but the three sons he gave birth to are three untrained dogs. How lamentable!" Yi Fei let out a long sigh. Although he knew that the three heroes of the prince's mansion weren't good people, he still sighed when he saw their attitude towards Little Fatty. Chapter 934. Instantly defeated 3 heroes. What did you say? You're just a servant. How dare you call us dogs? Today, I'll make sure you die without a complete corpse. Pang Long said angrily. Pang Feng also shook his head gloomily and said, Fourth brother, fifth brother, listen carefully. This Yi Fei is deranged. Not only did he barge into the beast hall without permission, he even held sixth brother hostage. In the end, he caused sixth brother's death. As the elder brothers, tell me, should we avenge sixth brother? Pang Hu understood immediately. He knew that the little fatty was no longer the good-for-nothing from before. Threats were useless. His body immediately emitted a thick murderous intent as he roared, Sixth brother, you died so miserably. I'll take revenge for you right now. Elder brother, am I dead? I'm clearly not dead. Why did they say that I'm dead? Little fatty was stunned and his brain couldn't wrap itself around the situation. Yi Fei was also speechless. He finally understood the shamelessness of the 3 heroes of the prince's mansion. Dragon Turtle, protect little fatty. As for these 3 bastards, leave them to me. Yi Fei asked the Dragon Turtle to protect little fatty and retreat to the side. He walked towards the 3 heroes alone. Elder brother, don't. They will kill you. Little fatty's face turned pale. He only realized that something was wrong now. He immediately pushed the Dragon Turtle away and wanted to run towards Yi Fei. However, the huge Dragon Turtle was almost pushed to the ground by little fatty. The Dragon Turtle was startled on the spot. He couldn't help but look at little fatty in shock. The 3 heroes revealed murderous intent at the same time. Brat, you have guts. You dare to face the 3 heroes alone. Old 5, go and kill him for me. Pang Feng snorted. He had his own status and disdained to attack a weakling like Yi Fei. Pang Hu didn't have such scruples. He had a violent personality and was called a bastard by Yi Fei. This undoubtedly triggered Pang Hu's murderous intent. Kill. The first to attack wasn't Pang Hu. It was Pang Long, who was secretly standing behind Yi Fei. Pang Long had a sinister smile on his face. He took the opportunity when Yi Fei turned his attention to Pang Hu. Boom! The sword momentum was like the collapse of mountains and rivers as it violently swept towards Yi Fei. Pang Long was confident that his sword could seriously injure Yi Fei even if he didn't die. After all, Pang Long was also a semi-sage genius. Killing an ordinary martial artist at the Earth Absolute 7th layer was a piece of cake. Elder brother. When the little fatty saw that Yi Fei was in danger, he burst into tears. Although he was not very smart, he knew the strength of the 3 heroes of the Wang family. They were ranked in the top 20 in the entire empire. How could Yi Fei beat the 3 of them by himself? Your swordsmanship isn't bad. You're actually able to manifest the power of collapsing mountains and rivers. Among the martial artists I've met, aside from Jiang Qing, your strength can be considered pretty good. Unfortunately, no matter how high your strength is, it can't change the fact that you're all beast. Yi Fei's voice suddenly became incomparably fierce. Boom! He didn't even turn his head. His bare hands shone with golden light as he grabbed the mountain river sword Qi that was stabbing towards his back. The 12 primordial spirits in his body erupted at the same time. They were like 12 dazzling scorching suns that rushed into the sky. In an instant, he seized the mountain river sword Qi and turned it into his own sword Qi. Pang Hu was so frightened that he forgot to attack. He could only look at the 12 dazzling suns that appeared behind Yi Fei in shock and fear. 12 primordial spirit. This is impossible. Even the crown princes of the Wang family don't dare to condense more than 1 primordial spirit. How can you, an itinerant martial artist from the external sea, condense so many primordial spirits? If you want to know, you'll have to take my sword first. After Yi Fei seized Pang Long's sword Qi, he suddenly split it into 2. In his left hand, the sword momentum was like a mountain that rose from the ground and killed Pang Long. In his right hand, the emperor-based saint's sword bloomed with boundless light. Soon, it condensed into a long river of swords that extended endlessly and swept through everything. Wow! Wow! With the support of the 12 primordial spirits, Pang Long and Pang Hu couldn't resist the impact of Yi Fei's two-sword cheese. Pang Long was smashed by the sword mountain, and half of the bones in his body were shattered on the spot. Pang Hu was swept into the sword river. The boundless sword chi made Pang Hu scream continuously on the spot. His face and body were covered with wounds from the sword chi. In an instant, he became a bloody man and fell to the ground. The only one left, Pang Feng, widened his eyes in horror. He finally understood why Beilizhern had put Yi Fei on the wanted list. One must know that Yi Fei was only at the earth-penetrating 7th level, but he could defeat 2 half-saints in an instant. This was clearly like a special bloodline that allowed him to fight across 4 levels. Not to mention that Yi Fei also had an emperor-based saint's sword in his hand. We must kill him. Otherwise we will all die. Pang Feng suddenly heard an evil voice roaring in his heart. His eyes suddenly turned blood-red. Beast King Sky-breaking fist. At this moment, Pang Feng no longer dared to treat Yi Fei as a weakling at the earth-penetrating 7th level. Instead, he treated Yi Fei as a martial artist with a special bloodline. He even burned his blood essence to increase the power of his fist technique. Kill. Yi Fei die. Boom. Boom. Pang Hu and Pang Long roared again, as expected of the 3 heroes of the Beast King Mansion. They were seriously injured, but they could still use martial arts. Pang Feng, Pang Hu, and Pang Long burned their blood essence at the same time. They were like 3 crazy wild beasts as they used the strongest Beast King Sky-breaking fist in the Beast King Mansion. Pang Feng punched out. The terrifying true origin condensed into a divine dragon. It raised its head and roared. The dragon claws fell mercilessly. Pang Hu's face was ferocious. The blood essence in his body condensed into a blood tiger. The tiger's eyes were ferocious. It brought along a terrifying hurricane as it grabbed at Yi Fei's heart. Pang Long laughed sinisterly. He also used the last of his strength to condense a sky-devouring python. The python opened its mouth. There was an endless void and endless killing intent inside. Rumble. The attacks of the 3 instantly engulfed the area where Yi Fei was standing. Elder brother! Little Fatty wailed. He didn't know where he got the strength from, but he actually pushed the dragon turtle away and ran towards Yi Fei. Little Fatty, don't come over! Suddenly, Yi Fei's anxious voice came from the middle of the battlefield. Shortly after, a resplendent purple-gold Tai Chi sphere rose from the explosion. Purple-gold Tai Chi, invincible. 10 steps away, invulnerable. Within 10 steps, I am invincible. Yi Fei soared into the sky. With the help of the purple-gold Tai Chi sphere, he perfectly blocked the attacks of the 3 heroes of the Beast King Mansion. At the same time, a resplendent purple-gold sword light swept out. It was like the shattering of mountains and rivers, like the falling of stars. How is this possible? He actually blocked the attacks of the 3 of us alone. He doesn't have a special bloodline, but he has already reached the level of a special bloodline. Who is he? Pang Feng looked at Yi Fei, who was rising like the sun, in despair. Then, he, Pang Hu, and Pang Long all saw a resplendent sword light instantly engulfing them. They couldn't resist. They couldn't resist at all. Yi Fei's sword was too powerful. The 4th level of the War God's Path and the 3rd level of the Emperor-based Saint's Sword had already given Yi Fei the ability to fight across 7 levels. Even at the last moment, when they felt the threat of death, Pang Feng and the other 2 took out their Emperor weapons to try and block. However, they still couldn't withstand the terrifying pressure of Yi Fei's Earth Sword. Chapter 935. Him. Defeated. It was a complete and utter defeat. Pang Feng and the other two knelt on the ground in humiliation. Their faces were filled with shock, disappointment, and unwillingness. As the three heroes of the Beast Master Mansion, the three strongest geniuses of the Beast Master Mansion were undoubtedly proud and conceited. However, their pride was completely shattered in front of Yi Fei. Why? He clearly doesn't have a special bloodline, but he can fight across 4 levels like a special bloodline. Pang Long's eyes were bleeding. He used a sword, but the sword aura he released was used by Yi Fei to injure him. This was Pang Long's humiliation, and also a swordsman's humiliation. You're not fit to use a sword. Yi Fei looked at Pang Long with disdain. A person who could even kill his own kin, such a person wasn't fit to practice the way of the sword. I'm not fit to use a sword? Haha, no one has ever said that about me in the Snow Wind Empire. Pang Long gritted his teeth so hard that they were broken and bleeding. They were the 3 heroes of the Beast King Mansion after all. They were ruthless and unconvinced. At this moment, Pang Hu suddenly laughed and roared at Yi Fei. Yi Fei, you're dead meat. You barged into the Beast Hall and injured the 3 of us. No matter who you are, once we leave the Beast Hall, my father will kill you. The martial saint of the Beast King Mansion will never let you off. Never let me off? I think the Beast King will be the first to not let you off. As the elder brother, not only did you not take care of your younger brother, you even humiliated him and tried to kill him. If I were your father, I would personally hack you 3 bastards to death. Yi Fei shook his head coldly. Death was at hand and they still didn't know how to repent. The so-called 3 heroes of the Beast King Mansion were nothing more than this. What did you say? You called us bastards? What do you know? The Beast King represents the face of the Beast King Mansion. We tried to kill Sixth Brother because we don't want a foolish Beast King to appear in the Beast King Mansion. Otherwise, the Beast King Mansion would become the laughingstock of the Empire. Pang Feng roared. He didn't think that there was anything wrong with murdering Little Fatty. Everything he did was for the sake of the Beast King residence's future. When he heard this, Little Fatty roared, I'll say it again. I'm just stupid. I'm not stupid. Haha, you can't even tell the difference between an outsider and an elder brother. If you aren't stupid, then are we the stupid ones? Sixth Brother, we have warned you a long time ago. If you have a problem with your brain, don't come out and embarrass our Imperial residence. Our Imperial residence's disciples are all elites of the Empire, not idiots like you. Roar! Anger filled Little Fatty's chest. Suddenly, he howled like an injured wild beast. He roared loudly at Pang Feng. How many times do you want me to say it? I'm just stupid, I'm not stupid. As he spoke, Little Fatty was about to rush over and argue with Pang Feng and the other 2. Ha ha ha, look at this idiot. He's getting impatient. Pang Long and Pang Hu continued to mock and ridicule, as if Little Fatty wasn't even their brother. Pang Feng didn't say anything. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Even though they were kneeling on the ground, the 3 prodigies of the Imperial residence didn't give up on finding an opportunity to retaliate. Little Fatty rushed forward, causing them to feel joy in their hearts at the same time. However, this joy quickly turned into intense anger. A large hand reached over and grabbed Little Fatty's shoulder. Little Fatty, don't go over. They are trying to provoke you. The 3 of you can stop pretending. My sword might be able to suppress you, but it won't be able to make you lose the ability to fight. After all, these were the 3 most powerful people in the Beast Master residence. They also had Imperial weapons on them, so they could offset the advantage of Yi Fei's Imperial Sacred Sword. What? You are actually lying to me again. You are deliberately trying to provoke me. Little Fatty's face was full of anger. He didn't listen to anyone except for Yi Fei. Little Fatty listened to every word of Yi Fei. He quickly retreated behind Yi Fei. At this moment, Pang Feng and the other 2 were also emitting Imperial Radiance. Each of them had an imperial weapon in their hands as they stared coldly and hatefully at Yi Fei. Humph, you actually found out. But so what? We are the princes of the imperial residence. Try and kill us. As long as we don't die, the one who will die will definitely be you. Pang Feng stood up coldly and proudly. Pang Hu and Pang Long's faces were filled with hatred. Not to mention that they couldn't let the news of them murdering little Fatty get out. Just the fact that Yi Fei had made them kneel on the ground meant that they definitely wouldn't let Yi Fei off. Elder brother, what should we do? They have imperial weapons bestowed upon them by Lord Father. Little Fatty said with a sobbing tone. Even if he wasn't very smart, he still understood the power of an imperial weapon. Yi Fei shook his head and looked at the three of them with disdain. He said coldly, "You really don't know how to repent. Do you really think that I won't dare to kill you?" Boom! Yi Fei took a step forward. His powerful strength caused the hard ground to crack like a spider web. It also scared Pang Feng and the other two into retreating in fear. What, 3 heroes of the imperial residence? I think it's more like 3 rats. I'll let you off for now. It's not that I don't dare to kill you, but that I want to leave you to Little Fatty. Little Fatty, when you become stronger, do you have the confidence to defeat them and take back your dignity? Yi Fei looked at Little Fatty very seriously. What? Leave their lives to me? Little Fatty's body trembled. He, who was originally confused, suddenly understood Yi Fei's meaning. I don't want their lives, but I will definitely become stronger. Father said that I'm just stupid, but I'm not stupid. I will definitely prove it to them. Little Fatty's face turned red as he said loudly. After that, he looked at Yi Fei with some apprehension. Yi Fei was also stunned when he heard this. He didn't expect Little Fatty to be so forgiving. He was actually an interesting person. Hearing Little Fatty's words, Pang Feng and Pang Long were also stunned. They clearly didn't expect Little Fatty to say such words. A trace of shame suddenly flashed across their faces. Only Pang Hu still pointed at Little Fatty in disdain and scolded, "Old Six, you're just a fool. You want to surpass us with just you? I'll say it again. I'm just stupid, but I'm not stupid," Little Fatty said with a red face. Yi Fei walked up and pulled Little Fatty behind him. He coldly looked at Pang Feng and the other two and said, "That's right. With just him, he will definitely surpass you. Little Fatty will also definitely be able to comprehend the Saint Tao. I will let you all witness it with your own eyes." After saying that, Yi Fei no longer paid attention to Pang Feng and the other two. Even if they had emperor weapons, they were currently heavily injured. Even if they joined forces, the ones who would lose would definitely be them. Rather than wasting time with them, it was better to quickly enter the last level of the Beast Hall. After all, the Beast Hall would only open for 5 days. Little Fatty, if we want to become stronger, we must enter the 12th level of the Beast Hall. Let me ask you, do you dare to enter? Yi Fei turned around and asked. I dare. This time, Little Fatty's answer was especially straightforward. He was also especially confident. Pang Feng and the other two had never felt such an aura from Little Fatty. They were very puzzled. What method did Yi Fei use to actually make a fool undergo such a huge change in such a short time? Chapter 936. Little Fatty is in luck. Haha, how can the 12th floor of the Beast Hall be so easy to enter? Even with the 3 of us working together, we couldn't even take a single step into the 12th floor. He actually wants to enter with a fool? Pang Hu said with contempt. After knowing that Yi Fei wouldn't kill him, he became impudent. As for what Yi Fei said about leaving their lives to Little Fatty, Pang Feng and the other two didn't take it to heart. We are the 3 prodigies of the prince's residence. In the entire empire, we are ranked in the top 20. Even if we can't compare to Yi Fei, how can we compare to Little Fatty? Do you think we can't compare to an idiot like sixth brother? Pang Long also laughed. By belittling little Fatty, he finally found a bit of confidence. Only Pang Fong still had some worry in his heart as he watched Yi Fei bring little Fatty to the 12th floor. It's better to be safe than sorry. We conspired to murder Old Sixth. Even if Old Sixth is benevolent and doesn't hold it against us, with Father's love for Old Sixth, he will definitely punish us severely. Third brother, you mean? Pang Hu and Pang Long looked at Pang Fong at the same time. Hurry up and recover from your injuries. We can spare little Fatty, but this Yi Fei must die. Killing intent flashed across Pang Feng's eyes, followed by hesitation. In the end, little Fatty's words of letting bygones be bygones still affected Pang Fong. Pang Fong could choose not to attack little Fatty, but towards Yi Fei, he was filled with hatred. Pang Hu and Pang Long were the same. They nodded with a gloomy expression. They weren't worried that Yi Fei could enter the 12th floor of the Beast Hall. Before Yi Fei came, Pang Fong and the other two had already tried all kinds of methods to enter the 12th floor, but they all failed. This was because there was a special condition to enter the 12th floor of the Beast Hall. One had to obtain the approval of a demon god. As for Pang Fong and the other two, they didn't even know what a demon god was. Even if they had beast tokens, they still wouldn't be able to enter the 12th floor of the Beast Hall. Even if Yi Fei went, it would be futile. The three of them simply sat cross-legged on the ground and recovered from their injuries while watching Yi Fei make a fool of himself. I'd like to see how he's going to bring a fool into the 12th floor of the Beast Hall. It's impossible for him to succeed. Even if my father comes, he won't be able to gain the recognition of the demon god. He won't be able to enter the demon god temple at the end of the Beast Hall. Otherwise, why would His Majesty bestow such a precious treasure to our Beast Master Manor? Pang Fong and the other two couldn't stop laughing. At this moment, Yi Fei also walked to the door of light that led to the 12th floor. Just as he was about to go over, the dragon turtle seemed to have sensed something. It quickly bit Yi Fei's trousers, preventing Yi Fei from getting close. Elder brother, there seems to be a very powerful restriction in front. He said that we have to obtain the recognition of some demon god before we can enter, little Fatty said hurriedly. The Yao god's approval? Yi Fei was a little surprised. What was a demonic immortal? Could it be a martial god? Oh right, little Fatty, how did you know all this? That's right. How did I know? It's really strange. Little Fatty scratched his head and was also very puzzled. Yi Fei had the heart to vomit blood. This little Fatty was really a freak. He said such words out of nowhere, and he almost believed it. Who cares what restriction it is? I can even smash my way into the Beast Hall. I don't believe that I can't smash my way into the last floor. Big Black, let's get to work. Roar. The dragon turtle's face darkened. It was very unhappy with Yi Fei calling it Big Black. However, the dragon turtle also felt a strange calling on it on the 12th floor of the Beast Hall. The dragon turtle immediately shrunk to the size of a shield and flew into Yi Fei's hands. Yi Fei carried the dragon turtle and asked little Fatty to wait on the spot. He then strode forward. Boom! The demon god's restriction was touched. Instantly, an extremely terrifying pressure was emitted from the void. That pressure was too terrifying. Even with the dragon turtle as a shield, Yi Fei still felt the pain of his body being squeezed until it exploded. What a terrifying pressure! The restriction here is at least 10 times more powerful than the one outside the Beast Hall. No, it's 20 times more powerful. Damn, it's still increasing. Yi Fei finally felt fear. He finally understood why Pang Fong and the other two had not entered the 12th floor after so long. The restriction was really too terrifying. Even if a martial sage came, he would not be able to pass through it. The corridor of the 12th floor of the Beast Hall had a total of 10,000 steps. After advancing 20 steps, the purple gold Tai Chi on Yi Fei's body had already been crushed. After 30 steps, Fine cracks had appeared on the dragon turtle's hard shell. For the remaining 9,970 steps, Yi Fei felt a sense of despair just by looking at the distance, let alone walking through it. What? After advancing 100 steps, Yi Fei was finally unable to withstand the pressure. He and the dragon turtle both spat out a mouthful of blood and hurriedly retreated. Only then did they avoid the fate of being crushed into a meat patty. I didn't expect the restriction on the last floor to be so strong. I reckon that even a martial sage would not be able to do anything. Yi Fei's expression was very solemn. Even so, Yi Fei's actions still gave Pang Feng and the other two a fright. The three of them combined could only advance 20 steps at most, but Yi Fei alone advanced 100 steps. It's a pity that this brat did not manage to advance any further. If he had advanced a few more steps, the demon god's restriction would have crushed him to death without us needing to do anything. Pang Long sneered. However, he could not help but reveal a look of jealousy on his face. Pang, who also mocked little fatty, idiot, look carefully. This is the elder brother you acknowledged. Isn't he just a piece of trash? If you can't enter the 12th floor of the Beast Hall, you will forever be an idiot. A good-for-nothing like you wants to surpass us? What a joke. Shut up. I'm not an idiot, I'm just stupid. Also, I won't allow you to mock Elder Brother. Elder Brother will definitely enter the 12th floor of the Beast Hall. I, Pang Bei, will definitely become stronger. After being mocked again and again, little fatty suddenly became angry. A strange thought urged him to rush toward the 12th floor of the Beast Hall when Yi Fei retreated. Little fatty, what are you doing? Yi Fei was extremely shocked. The demon god's restriction was extremely terrifying. Even he could only advance 100 steps. Little fatty was only a 10th layer martial king. If he were to rush in like that, he would instantly be crushed into a meat patty. Haha, an idiot will always be an idiot. This is great. This time, sixth brother did not die because of us. He was the one who sought death. Pang Hu and Pang Long glanced at each other and saw the pride in each other's eyes. They knew little fatty too well. With just a little provocation, little fatty was indeed tricked and rushed in to seek death. How is this possible? Sixth brother is actually running inside. The demon god's restriction does not seem to have any effect on him. What? Following Pang Feng's gaze, Pang Long and Pang Hu witnessed an unbelievable scene. A little fatty was able to ignore the restriction and run all the way to the entrance of the 12th floor. Not only were Pang Feng and the others dumbfounded, even Yi Fei was stunned. Chapter 937. Ancient Demon Spirit. No, I want to go in with Elder Brother. I have temporarily broken the seal here. Elder Brother, come over here quickly. Little fatty did not go in alone. Instead, he anxiously ran over, wanting to bring Yi Fei and the dragon turtle in with him. Yi Fei wanted to reject him, but little fatty's strength was too frightening. He did not allow Yi Fei to reject him. He carried the dragon turtle with one hand and pulled Yi Fei with the other. Dong dong dong, little fatty quickly ran towards the light door on the 12th floor. What was strange was that the seal that originally existed in the surroundings actually disappeared after little fatty entered. Before Yi Fei could regain his senses, he was pulled into the light door by little fatty. The dragon turtle was completely dumbfounded. Even though it was only the size of a shield, it still weighed several thousand kilograms. It was not strange that Yi Fei could carry it, but little fatty, who was only a 10th layer martial king, was actually able to easily carry it. This was extremely shocking. Idiot, no, old six, bring us along later. Old six, you idiot. We are your elder brothers. You're not bringing us in, but bringing an outsider in? Stop talking. While old six is breaking the seal, let's charge in as well. Pang Feng no longer cared about healing his injuries. He stood up and chased after little Fatty with his fastest speed. Yes, charge in. Pang Long and Pang, who suddenly did not despise little Fatty for being an idiot. At this moment, they regretted leaving little Fatty to fend for himself on the 7th floor. Unfortunately, it was too late for them to regret. Boom! Just as little Fatty carried the dragon turtle and pulled Yi Fei into the light door on the 12th floor, the seal that had disappeared suddenly reappeared. Idiot! Old Six! You actually dared to trick us! Pang Fong and the other two roared in anger. They did not expect the seal to recover so quickly. At this moment, they were still charging forward and had covered a distance of 50 steps. This distance had already exceeded the limits of what they could endure. Moreover, they had already been seriously injured by Yi Fei. The pressure of the restriction instantly caused Pang Fong and the other two to spit out blood. Half of the bones in their bodies were crushed. If they weren't half saints and had emperor weapons in their hands, they probably wouldn't have been able to escape the restriction and would have been crushed to death. The faces of Pang Fong and the other two contorted in anger. For the first time, they felt a deep sense of fear towards the little Fatty whom they had always disdained. Old Sixth, that idiot! What a good-for-nothing! He actually managed to obtain the recognition of a demonic god? Pang Hu couldn't accept this fact. He didn't notice that his voice was trembling slightly. Yi Fei was dragged into the 12th floor of the Beast Hall by little Fatty, and he felt as if his brain had crashed. Damn, even I can't pass through the demonic god's restriction. Little Fatty actually managed to enter in one breath. This world is too crazy. Also, little Fatty, you can put the dragon turtle down. Yi Fei reminded. Only then did little Fatty realize that he was still carrying the dragon turtle on his back. He hurriedly put the dragon turtle down and apologized. Blackie, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have carried you without your permission. The dragon turtle rolled its eyes and stared at little Fatty for a long time. In the end, it silently crawled to the side. The dragon turtle was originally tyrannical, but at this moment, it felt that little Fatty was perhaps the most tyrannical one. The 12th floor of the Beast Hall was very spacious. There weren't any monsters inside. Instead, there were many strange caves. Since he knew that little Fatty was extraordinary, Yi Fei naturally wouldn't waste little Fatty's talent. Little Fatty, there are so many caves. Can you sense where the demonic souls are hidden? Yi Fei looked at the densely packed caves in front of him and felt a headache coming on. Little Fatty looked at the caves very seriously. Without thinking, he walked straight to a cave not far away and said, "Brother, the demonic souls are in there." But as little Fatty approached, the restriction in front of the cave shattered before it could even activate. Yi Fei was dumbfounded. Little Fatty was also dumbfounded on the spot, not understanding what had happened. Roar! In the cave, the demonic souls that had been sealed for countless years suddenly rushed out like a tide. They came in all sorts of shapes and sizes. They were all great sages of the demonic race from ancient times. These are the demonic souls? Yi Fei was a little surprised as he rushed over. He suddenly reached out and grabbed the weakest demonic soul. That demonic soul immediately shattered and turned into a transparent ball of light that floated in Yi Fei's hand. Inside the ball of light there was a special aura. It was the aura of the force of heaven and earth. It was exactly the same as what Yi Fei felt when he absorbed the sage bone. Yi Fei was surprised and delighted. These demonic souls are indeed the same as the sage bone. With so many demonic souls, I don't have to search for sage bones in the future. I can quickly raise my sword force. Shwa! 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 Yi Fei's eyes turned red. He simply formed a huge chi palm and kept grabbing the demonic souls. The dragon turtle was even more straightforward. It opened its mouth and chased after the demonic souls that were flying around to devour them. The most ferocious was still little Fatty. He still didn't understand what was going on. He just stood there in a daze. Countless demonic souls seemed to be attracted to him as they constantly entered his body. Brother, I'm going to be eaten by demons. Little Fatty was so frightened that he cried out loudly. Yi Fei didn't know what to say. If someone else encountered such a good thing, they would be grinning from ear to ear. But this little Fatty was so frightened that he cried on the spot. Little Fatty, don't worry. These are demonic souls. They can make you stronger. You just have to work hard to cultivate. Little Fatty stopped crying immediately. He understood what was going on. He just stood there without moving. To think that he could cultivate while standing. Yi Fei had learned another posture. Many demonic souls rushed out of the cave. After all, the ancient age was the world of the demon tribe and vicious beasts. Any demon tribe member that was born would have the strength of the heavenly Grandmaster Grand Sage. Therefore, there were many demonic souls stored in the Beast Hall. There were at least 100,000 of them. This was definitely a shocking amount of wealth. It was equivalent to 100,000 sage bones. Through these demonic souls, Yi Fei could feel how glorious the ancient demon tribe was. It was a pity that no matter how glorious the ancient demon tribe was, they gradually declined. It seems that no life form can become the eternal protagonist of the heavens and earth. To live forever, be it demons, sorcerers or humans, the only way is to transcend the heavens and earth, and become a true martial god. Only the martial god could live forever. This strange thought suddenly flashed across Yi Fei's mind. He saw that the dragon turtle and little Fatty were still desperately absorbing the demonic souls. However, Yi Fei stopped moving. 10,000 demonic souls was already benefiting from little Fatty. One cannot be too greedy. This was the lesson that Yi Fei learned from the martial imperial palace. Therefore, after capturing 10,000 demonic souls, Yi Fei ignored the other demonic souls and walked to an empty space without any demonic souls. He started to refine these demonic souls. Chapter 938. Heavenly Master and Earthly Master. In the end, the pair of cold eyes stared at Fatty, who was standing at his original spot, with a satisfied expression. Then, he looked at the dragon turtle that was chasing after the monster souls, and his eyes were filled with admiration. The world is vast and the monster tribe is vast. Heavenly Master and Earthly Master, Monster God is supreme. Suddenly, the mysterious voice rang in Dragon Turtle's and Fatty's ears at the same time. Hearing the voice, Fatty couldn't stand still anymore. His eyelids drooped and his head nodded. In the end, he slowly fell to the ground and fell into a deep sleep. The flying dragon turtle also felt that its body had become heavy. It couldn't help but land beside Fatty. Then, it shrunk its head and started snoring like thunder. The strangest thing was that Yi Fei did not hear little Fatty and the dragon turtle's drunken cries at all, nor did he hear that strange voice. The two of them and the turtle were completely unaware that they had fallen into a strange state. Suddenly, Yi Fei felt as though he had come to a mysterious space. In this space, his power of understanding and cultivation speed increased rapidly. The strange thing was that Yi Fei didn't notice it. Instead, in the space of the beast mark, Xiao Qiao blinked her eyelids in confusion. However, she didn't sense any danger. Hence, Xiao Qiao didn't wake up. She changed into a more comfortable sleeping position and slept soundly. 1 day passed. 2 days passed. 3 days passed. After staying on the 12th level of the Beast Hall for 3 days, Yi Fei had a vague feeling that he had stayed there for 3 months, or even longer. With the help of a large number of demonic souls, Yi Fei successfully raised his Earth Sword Aura to the 10th stage Earth Sword Aura. At the same time, the 1 billion upper spiritual stones that he had obtained from the Fighting Colosseum allowed Yi Fei to break through to Earth Force Level 10 in 3 days. I am only 1 step away from breaking through to Sage to Be. As long as I become a Sage to Be, I will definitely get a good ranking in the Heaven and Earth Supreme ranking list. Then, I will join Saint Academy to cultivate. Sensing his breakthrough, Yi Fei felt a faint excitement in his heart. At this time, he had refined over 1 billion high-grade spirit stones, and there was still some spiritual energy remaining in his body. As long as Yi Fei was willing, he could try to break through to the half-saint realm. However, what surprised Yi Fei was that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break through. He clearly had the power to surpass the half-saint realm, but there was an invisible layer of resistance that prevented him from stepping into the half-saint realm. What's going on? I clearly possess strength that surpasses the semi-sage realm. The spiritual energy in my body is also sufficient to support me to make a breakthrough. Why can't I make a breakthrough? Yi Fei could not figure it out. At this moment, a mysterious voice suddenly rang out in his mind, explaining in an indifferent tone, "There's no need to make pointless breakthroughs. Although you've absorbed the demonic soul, the energy in your body is too chaotic. You're still unable to continue making breakthroughs." Who is it? Yi Fei jumped in fright. He looked around and realized that he was no longer in the Beast Hall, but in a mysterious space. In this space, Little Fatty and the Dragon Turtle had disappeared. This method was too terrifying. It had unknowingly isolated Yi Fei. Even though Yi Fei had experienced many dangers, he still felt his scalp tingle. If the person in the dark wanted to harm him, wouldn't they be able to kill him silently? "It's me." In the void, a majestic palace appeared. At the same time, a pair of green eyes looked at this space from the distant ancient times, as though they had traveled through time and space. They were filled with vicissitudes and solemnity. A demonic immortal? Yi Fei was puzzled. At the same time, he took deep breath. It was just a gaze that had traveled through time, but Yi Fei felt like he was suffocating. Only now did he know how powerful the ancient demonic immortals were. As the strongest demonic immortals, they could even travel through time and space. "Smart human." The demonic immortal smiled. "You don't have to worry. I no longer exist in this world. What you see is just a strand of distracting thoughts that I have placed in the depths of time and space." Distracting thoughts. Yi Fei was dumbfounded. Damn, even a strand of distracting thoughts could be so powerful. It completely overturned his understanding. "Could it be that you are a martial god?" "Martial god?" Haha, although the martial gods of the human race are powerful, they are still lacking. Young man, remember this. Martial gods are the true starting point of martial arts. Only by reaching the earthly venerable or heavenly venerable can one be considered to have transcended the world. The demonic immortal's tone was calm. However, Yi Fei could still hear the arrogance in the demonic immortal's tone. Even if the martial gods of the human race were human, the demonic immortal did not seem to think highly of them. "May I know why the demonic immortal is looking for me?" Yi Fei probed again. He was a little nervous. After all, this was the Beast Hall, the territory of the demonic immortals. If the demonic immortal's distracting thoughts were not pleasing to the eye, Yi Fei would probably be in for a tragedy with just a thought. At this moment, Yi Fei of course hurriedly probed the demonic immortal's true intentions. The demonic immortal chuckled. "Young man, I have said before that you don't have to be nervous. Originally, if a human stepped into the Beast Hall, only death awaited them. However, you are different. I can sense the aura of an old friend from your body. On account of her, I will not make things difficult for you." Furthermore, in the void there seemed to be an invisible hand waving. In this mysterious space, 2 figures appeared. They were the sleeping dragon turtle and Little Fatty. Furthermore, after waiting for so many years, 2 half-demon beings have finally arrived. I am very relieved. Without you, they would not have come here. On account of our old friend, young man, tell me, what reward do you want? The demonic immortal asked calmly. Yi Fei was baffled by these words. What old friend? Could the demonic immortal have mistaken him for someone else? However, regardless of whether the demonic immortal had mistaken him for someone else, as long as there were benefits, he would get them first. Senior demonic immortal, I am not as knowledgeable as you. Why don't you just reward me with a few unwanted treasures? Yi Fei said honestly, but he was harumphing in his heart. The difference in strength between him and the demonic immortal was too great. Things that were treasures in his eyes might just be dirt and debris on the ground in the eyes of the demonic immortal. Yi Fei was no fool. If the treasures he proposed were worthless in the eyes of the demonic immortal, wouldn't that be a huge loss? At this moment, it was best to let the demonic immortal speak. With the demonic immortal's knowledge, he could not just send him away with some trash, right? Yi Fei's abacus was well thought out. When the demonic immortal heard this, he was immediately speechless. Yi Fei had already put it this way. If the demonic immortal were to send him away with some random items, that would be too petty. Seeing the demonic immortal remain silent for a long time, Yi Fei's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that his asking price was too high, scaring the demonic immortal away? Or was the demonic immortal too poor and did not have any treasures? After all, this was not the demonic immortal, but a strand of the demonic immortal's thoughts. Yi Fei could not help but turn nervous. Chapter 939. The Demon God's Teachings, Demon God Senior? Yi Fei tried calling out. There was no response. Yi Fei's face darkened. Just as the demon celestial thought that this matter was over, the demon celestial said slowly, "Little fella, you are really cunning. You remind me of another interesting human. I wonder if he has fallen after so many years." "Who is that?" Yi Fei asked curiously. If a powerful being like the demon god remembered him, he might be a living martial god. The demon god did not say much. He said calmly, "Little guy, you've given me a difficult problem. If I just give you something to dismiss you, you'll definitely say that I'm stingy. If I really give you a treasure, with your cultivation level, you'll only bring death to yourself. The power in your body is too messy. If I'm not wrong, you've already embarked on the path of despair. However, your primordial spirit is formed from a Buddhist's holy sarira. Now, not only do you have the power of the war demon and the Asura, you also have the power of the Buddha, the power of the devil, and a trace of the power of the witch tribe." If the demon god did not say it, Yi Fei would not have known. Once he said it, he felt his face turn red. He did not expect him to have so many messy powers. Fortunately, the demon god did not sense the power of the undying sword soul, nor did he sense the existence of Xiao Chao. Otherwise, Yi Fei shuddered at the thought of the consequences. He quickly changed the topic. "Senior demon god, may I know what reward you're going to give me?" The demon god was a little exasperated. "Little guy, you're too impatient. I originally wanted to guide your cultivation, but the power in your body is messy and you've already embarked on the path of despair. I have not walked that path, so I can't give you any specific guidance. However, I remember that someone once walked this path. He left behind a cultivation technique that can repair the crack in your soul and suppress the heavenly Tao's detection of you." "What? Someone also embarked on the path of despair? Who was that person? Did he succeed in the end?" Yi Fei was excited. Those who could be remembered by the Fei god were definitely great figures who could shake the world. At the very least, they were at the level of the martial god. If there was a predecessor who had once walked down this path of despair, it would undoubtedly be a great encouragement to Yi Fei. The demon god also knew how Yi Fei felt at this moment. His tone was regretful and his voice became ethereal. In the universe, there are a total of 3,000 great Taos. Every Tao represented an ultimate power. Among them, there are 10 of the strongest: God's power, Devil's power, Demon's power, Shaman's power, Heavenly Tribulation's power, Despair's power. These 10 powers represent the pinnacle of the universe. Successfully cultivating any one of them would make one the strongest in the world. The power of despair is a mixture of 2 different types of power. They reinforce and restrain each other, making it almost impossible to cultivate. Those who occasionally walk on this path all die in the end. It was the same for the person I knew. When he integrated the power of despair for the 8th time and broke through to the heavenly venerate level, he was killed by the world-destroying lightning tribulation. Along with him, a world was destroyed. The only thing he left behind was this true Spirit 9 transformations. You can take it. When the Fey god finished speaking, a blood-stained golden page appeared in the void. I, the heavenly venerate, relied on the power of despair to fight the 9 heavens and 10 earths and the 8 great heavenly venerate. I have never tasted defeat. I only regret that I was not prepared enough and could not resist the destructive power of the heavenly tribulation. Those who come after me should use the true Spirit 9 transformations to advance dauntlessly with a heart of death to complete my last wish. I have no regrets in dying. I only hope that the path of despair will not be lonely. The opening of the golden page was scarlet words written in blood. Even though he did not know how long the heavenly venerate had been dead for, Yi Fei's despairing heart suddenly lit up with a glimmer of hope when he saw these words. The path of despair will not be filled with despair. At the very least, the heavenly venerate had integrated the power of despair 8 times and fought the 8 great heavenly venerates without tasting defeat. What kind of terrifying combat power was that? What kind of amazing feat was that? Just when everyone thought that the path of despair was a dead end, there was someone who integrated the power of despair 8 times in a row. He was only one step away from completely integrating the power of despair. Since the heavenly venerate could do it, why can't I do it? Yi Fei exuded a strong sense of confidence. Don't worry, heavenly venerate. The path of despair will not be filled with despair. This path may be filled with despair, but it will definitely not be lonely. At the very least, Yi Fei would definitely not give up on this path of despair. Little fellow, it seems like you have already made your decision? The Fey god sighed. I have. What I see on the path of despair is not despair, but hope. It is glory. Yi Fei's eyes lit up. At this moment, the golden page seemed to feel Yi Fei's strong conviction. 1. In the end, the golden page turned into a stream of light that was deeply imprinted in Yi Fei's mind. The true Spirit 9 transformations technique was also continuously integrated into Yi Fei's soul. Yi Fei instantly understood why the path of despair was so despairing. I see. The reason why my soul was split is because the power of the war demon and the power of Azura fused. When they fused, they would also resist each other. This kind of confrontation will tear my soul apart invisibly and hinder my martial path. The true Spirit 9 transformations is a supreme technique created by the heavenly venerate to deal with this. Using this technique, not only can I repair my split soul and strengthen it continuously, but I can also hide the aura of the power of despair during the fusion so that the heavenly Tao will not sense it. The heavenly Tao will not be able to sense my aura, so it will naturally not be able to send down a heavenly tribulation. This way, I can make all sorts of preparations to deal with the heavenly tribulation. Then, I can deal with the heavenly tribulation. Wonderful, this is wonderful. The heavenly venerate is definitely a demon-level genius. After silently comprehending the mysteries of the true Spirit 9 transformations, Yi Fei was both shocked and full of admiration for the heavenly venerate. This was a true martial arts prodigy. This was a true supreme divine skill. Senior, thank you for bestowing this technique on me. Yi Fei was extremely respectful and grateful as he cupped his hands towards the void. Perhaps this cultivation technique was useless in the eyes of the Fey immortals, but to Yi Fei, The true Spirit 9 transformations was infinitely more precious than any god-tier cultivation technique in the world. You don't have to thank me. The path of despair doesn't require great wisdom and perseverance. It requires great courage and fearlessness. Little fellow, work hard. Perhaps we will meet again in tens of thousands of years. The demon god smiled faintly. The reason he had given this technique to Yi Fei was because he didn't want the path of despair to end just like that. As for whether Yi Fei could succeed or not, the demon god didn't care. Forget it. The heavenly venerate was once fated with me. I will fulfill your last wish, and not let this path of despair be lonely. Boom! Chapter 940. Good Son-in-Law. Stimulated by the energy, the dragon turtle suddenly raised its head and roared. Its body released billowing demonic aura, which eventually turned into a dragon-shaped ball of chi that circled around the dragon turtle. Then, there was another scream. Little Fatty was awakened from his cultivation. He was scared out of his wits and immediately burst into tears. What is this place? My body seems to be giving birth to a baby. Brother, save me. I don't want to give birth to a baby. Boom. At this moment, the entire beast hall was shaking. Little Fatty's cries turned into rolling thunder. Little Fatty's aura rose rapidly amidst the thunder. At the same time, a huge demonic soul appeared on his body. That demonic soul was incomparably huge, like a sky-reaching giant ape. It pounded its chest and let out a violent roar. The dome of the beast hall couldn't withstand the terrifying roars of the man and the turtle. The dome was completely overturned, revealing the beautiful sun, moon, and stars. Outside the beast hall, the Beast King and the 10 martial sages of the Beast King residence felt the pressure increase. The 10 statues of the ancient vicious beasts seemed to be heavier than the entire Beast King city. Creak, creak. The solid ground of the martial arts practice field was quickly crushed. The Beast King, who was in the 5th layer of the sky-piercing realm, was bent over. He was actually carrying the ancient statues and was about to kneel on the ground. The other 10 martial sages of the Beast King residence felt even worse. They weren't just kneeling, they were vomiting blood together. They felt like their bodies were about to be squashed by the statues in the sky. What happened? Why is there such an abnormality in the Beast Hall? Cut the crap. If you don't want anything to happen to your sons and nephews, all martial sages, come over quickly. Do your best to block these statues. Don't let them fall. The key to opening the Beast Hall was these statues. Once the statues fell, the Beast Hall would close. Everyone who entered the Beast Hall would be trapped in that strange space. The Beast King couldn't bear that responsibility. This time, he also let out a loud roar towards the entire Beast King city. Following the Beast King's roar, many of the martial sages of the clans who had been secretly observing the progress of the Beast Hall finally realized what was going on. Dozens of terrifying auras erupted in the entire Beast King city one after another. After that, the martial sages from the various clans in the Beast King city no longer cared about staying in seclusion to prolong their lives. For the safety of their outstanding sons and nephews in the Beast Hall, they all rushed into the Beast King manor at the fastest speed possible. They did their best to help the Beast King stop the statue from falling. The light door of the Beast Hall finally stabilized under the combined efforts of the dozens of martial sages. Demon God, what happened to little Fatty? I clearly felt that he had stepped into the 12th level of the martial saint realm. Why hasn't his soul been born yet? Yi Fei stared at the Fatty who was crying. Somehow, as he cried, the Fatty began to emit the energy that only titled battle pet warriors could emit, Wu Jun. Then, this aura continued to soar, becoming stronger and stronger. Sigh, the 10th level of the martial saint realm. The demonic blood in this little guy's body is still too thin. Otherwise, my strand of demon god's power would be enough to raise his soul to the 12th level at the same time. The demon god let out a deep sigh from tens of millions of years away. Hearing this sigh, Yi Fei felt so depressed that he wanted to spurt out blood. Damn, a strand of demon god's power could raise little fatty from the 10th level of the martial king realm to the 10th level of Wu Jun. Why didn't you give me such a benefit? Little guy, don't blame me for being biased. You don't have any demonic blood in your body. The demon god's power won't have an obvious effect on you. The only thing I can do is to help you complete the second fusion. Work hard. Also, take care of them for me. The heavens and earth are vast, and the demon race is vast. The heavenly lord and the earth lord are the demon race. The heavenly lord and the earth lord are the demon race. Ah! The palace in the sky disappeared. The strand of the demon god's will in the endless space collapsed like a huge mountain, and no longer existed. Seeing the demon god leaving so irresponsibly, Yi Fei felt like crying. This demon god was obviously trying to set him up. It had decided to raise his divine battle Dao to the 5th level on its own. If he were to be killed by the heavenly tribulation, it would be too unfair. Obviously, the demon god was forcing Yi Fei to embark on the path of despair, with no way of turning back. Although Yi Fei had never planned to turn back, Yi Fei's expression changed greatly when he sensed a terrifying aura in the sky, as he realized that it was the aura of the heavenly Tao. If he were to be discovered by the heavenly Tao after merging with the power of despair, he would be blasted into pieces by the heavenly tribulation. Other than cursing in his heart, Yi Fei hurriedly used the true Spirit 9 transformations as fast as he could to hide his aura. Rumble! Even so, the heavenly tribulation cloud that was gradually gathering in the sky emitted an aura that suffocated Yi Fei. It was only because it couldn't find its target that the heavenly tribulation slowly dissipated. Tyrannical! The aura of the heavenly tribulation also awakened the dragon turtle from its absorption of demonic energy. Then, the dragon turtle got a fright as it realized that its voice had become abnormal. It wasn't a dragon's roar, but a voice that was even more ancient and deep. Wah! Little Fatty continued to cry. With a strength that could crush a mountain range, he ran towards Yi Fei and pounced. Brother, save me! I'm going to have a baby! Beads of cold sweat rolled down Yi Fei's forehead. Just how strong was this little fatty? He could actually cause such a huge amount of destruction just by casually running. Everyone in the Beast Hall, come out immediately. Don't delay. A loud roar suddenly reverberated throughout the Beast Hall, preventing Yi Fei from being pounced on by Little Fatty. Little Fatty also stopped in his tracks and asked curiously, "This sounds like Father's voice. Could it be that Father knows that I'm hungry and is asking me to go home for a meal?" This Little Fatty was indeed a glutton. If there's anything, let's talk outside. Also, Little Fatty, you have a demonic soul. Other than your father, don't tell anyone else about this, Yi Fei instructed sternly. Oh, I'll listen to brother. I won't tell anyone. Little Fatty nodded repeatedly. Yi Fei couldn't help but feel a headache coming on. It seemed that even though Little Fatty had a demonic soul, his brain wasn't very bright. The Beast King's urging sounded very anxious as it roared a few times. Understanding that something big might have happened outside, Yi Fei didn't dare to stay in the Beast Hall any longer. He immediately led Little Fatty and the Dragon Turtle through the light door on the 12th floor and quickly left the Beast Hall. At the same time, when Yi Fei appeared on the martial arts arena, the already weak light door of the Beast Hall completely dimmed. The 10 statues of the vicious beasts also lost their glow and fell to the ground. The dozens of martial sages all vomited blood and panted heavily. They had paid a heavy price, but at least they managed to hold on until everyone came out safely. Chapter 941. Yi Fei was enraged. What? Good son-in-law? Good son? Many people in the martial arts practice hall were baffled by the Beast King's words. They knew that the good son the Beast King was referring to was the famous good-for-nothing little fatty from the Wong residence. Just like the three heroes of the Wong residence, little fatty was also famous in the Beast King city. However, his reputation was tarnished. Many people who couldn't compete with the three heroes of the Wong residence would use little fatty to make fun of and humiliate Pang Feng and the others. This was also the reason why Pang Feng and the other two hated little fatty since they were young. They couldn't wait for little fatty to die. Only the Beast King felt that he owed the little fatty. Instead, he doted on this son of his who was not very bright. He often called him a good son, and no one was surprised. Only calling him a good son-in-law made many people feel surprised. If they remembered correctly, the Beast King's only daughter wasn't even 7 years old. How did she become a good son-in-law? Yi Fei didn't expect that the Beast King was referring to him as good son-in-law. After walking out of the Beast Hall, Yi Fei quickly walked towards Xia Jun. He wanted to leave with Xia Jun as soon as possible. Good son-in-law, don't leave yet. Imprint this handprint first. The Beast King was quick to react. He actually grabbed Yi Fei in advance and took out another piece of paper. A steward from the Wong residence was already beside them. He cleverly brought over a box of red ink paste. Before Yi Fei could understand what was going on, slap! The Beast King had already grabbed Yi Fei's hand at lightning speed. He imprinted it on the ink paste and slapped it on the paper. He smiled with satisfaction and said, "Ha ha ha, success! Everyone, listen up. Yi Fei will be the son-in-law of the Beast King residence from now on. Quickly come and greet the son-in-law." Greetings, son-in-law. The stewards and servants of the Wong residence all bowed to Yi Fei. Only then did Yi Fei see clearly that the Beast King had asked him to imprint his handprint on a marriage contract. Yi Fei was so shocked that he almost vomited blood. Only now did he understand that the Beast King had actually addressed him as a good son-in-law. He had even inexplicably asked him to put his fingerprint on the marriage contract. It wasn't that his reaction wasn't fast enough, but that the Beast King was too shameless. "Beast King, how dare you trick me?" Yi Fei's face darkened. He hurriedly snatched the marriage contract and tore it up. "Haha, Yi Fei, it's futile. You're definitely going to be the son-in-law of the Beast King residence." The Beast King was already prepared. How could he let Yi Fei tear up the marriage contract? He quickly stuffed it into his space belt. From signing the marriage contract to saving it, the entire process took less than 10 seconds. Even a martial sage would be dazzled and unable to react. Who is this brat? He's actually lucky enough to become the Beast King's son-in-law? To be valued by the Beast King to the point of forcing a marriage in front of everyone, this kid is going to have a meteoric rise in the future. If I remember correctly, the Beast King's daughter is only 6.5 years old today. Is it really good for her to get married so early? The martial sages were all shocked. Xia Jun's eyes almost fell out of their sockets. What? Only 6.5 years old? I didn't expect Big Brother to have such a strong taste. Xia Jun prostrated himself in admiration of Yi Fei. There was also a group of people who were furious. When Pang Feng and the other two heard that Yi Fei was going to become their brother-in-law, they felt as disgusted as if they had eaten a fly. They had planned to find an opportunity to deal with Yi Fei after they came out and wash away their previous humiliation. If Yi Fei became their brother-in-law, how could they take revenge? "Father, we definitely won't agree." "Father, 7th sister isn't even 7 years old yet. How can she get married?" "Mother won't agree either." Pang Feng and the other two tried their best to stop him. Hearing this, the Beast King roared, "Bullshit! So what if she's 7 years old? Even if she's only 7 years old, she's still a beauty that can captivate birds and beasts. If she's able to marry this kid, it'll be like smoke rising from his ancestors' graves." The Beast King spoke with conviction. When he heard Yi Fei, he almost vomited blood. There was only one voice in his head, Only a 7-year-old girl, only a 7-year-old girl, only a 7-year-old girl. If he were to marry her, then he would be out of luck. Beast King. Yi Fei hurriedly said. What Beast King? You have to call me father-in-law. Son-in-law, don't be anxious. Although you and seventh sister can't consummate your marriage, you can sleep first, the Beast King continued. Hearing this, the group of martial sages were all stunned. Who exactly was this kid that the Beast King would be so shameless as to marry Yi Fei? Xia Jun was so impressed that his eyes turned red. Big brother, I didn't expect your taste to be so strong. Looks like I'll have a 7-year-old sister-in-law soon. Shut up, all of you. Beast King, you shameless old man. Your daughter is only 7 years old. How can you do this to her? Today, I'll enforce justice on behalf of the heavens and beat you to death, you shameless old man. When he heard that the Beast King had not only prepared a marriage certificate, but also a consummation, no, even a place to sleep, Yi Fei was furious. Yi Fei's heart was suddenly filled with immense rage. If he still did not understand that he had fallen into this old thing's trap, then he should find a piece of tofu and kill himself. Beast King, hand over that marriage certificate. I'm going to tear it up on the spot. Yi Fei's body was burning with flames as he approached the Beast King. My good son-in-law, why are you so stubborn? Your temperament still needs to be tempered. The Beast King wasn't angry at being scolded. After all, he had schemed against Yi Fei. It would be strange if Yi Fei wasn't angry. Of course, the Beast King had ways to appease Yi Fei immediately. Boom! He suddenly released the pressure of a sky-piercing martial sage. The Beast King smiled and grabbed at Yi Fei. My good son-in-law, don't resist. I'm a reasonable person. Let's go and get married now. Get married my ass. Old man, take this. Heavenly sword art. Boom! Yi Fei couldn't take it anymore. He instantly became one with his sword. A huge sword light appeared in the sky and slashed at the Beast King. Today, even if he had to go all out, he was going to beat up this shameless Beast King. The Beast King was still calm. He smiled and said, My good son-in-law, you're quite hot-tempered. Fine, I'll give you some pointers. The Beast King casually threw out a palm, wanting to suppress Yi Fei on the spot and then forcefully drag him over to get married. If it were before Yi Fei had entered the Beast Hall, he really wouldn't have been able to withstand the palm of the Beast King, a 5th-level sky-piercing martial saint. Now, however, Yi Fei, who was filled with rage, couldn't care less. He immediately erupted with his 12 primordial spirits and activated the 5th level of the God of War Dao. Yi Fei's battle prowess instantly rose from the 10th level of the earth-piercing martial saint to the 4th level of the martial saint realm. At the same time, Yi Fei also had an imperial sacred sword in his hands. Even an imperial sacred sword had already lost the ability to challenge a powerful martial saint like the Beast King. However, an emperor artifact was still able to allow Yi Fei to bring out the full potential of his sword Dao. Therefore, Yi Fei's sword slashed out, shattering the true essence palm of the Beast King on the spot. Afterwards, the sharp sword light exploded on the Beast King's body. The Beast King grunted as his python robe exploded into pieces, scattering in all directions. How can this be? Kid, not only have you risen to the 10th level of the earth-piercing martial saint realm, you can even surpass 5 levels and shatter this king's protective aura? The Beast King was incomparably shocked. It was as if he was seeing Yi Fei for the first time. His words caused an uproar among the surrounding martial saints. Chapter 942. Little Fatty shows his prowess. Sensing Yi Fei's battle prowess, not only was the Beast King shocked, even the other martial saints present were stunned. In the middle state there were countless geniuses, but most of them were ordinary geniuses who could fight across 2 to 3 grades. For example, Jiang Qing, Lin Ying, and the 3 Pang brothers were all ordinary geniuses. Only special geniuses with special bloodlines could surpass 4 grades and fight against the heavens. For example, Bailey Jean relied on his powerful special bloodline to become the strongest youth king in the Snow Wind Empire. No one expected Yi Fei to have such battle prowess, surpassing 5 whole grades. No wonder the Beast King is so shameless. His daughter is only 7 years old and she's already married off. If I have such a son-in-law, I'll kidnap him and bring him back. The martial saints were all shocked. Then, they understood the Beast King's actions and looked at the Beast King with envy. The Beast King Palace was already powerful. If they could have a son-in-law with a special bloodline, they would be like the sun in the sky. Xia Jun wailed, "Heavens, Big Brother is abnormal again. How can I catch up with him like this?" "Overlord." The dragon turtle walked over and roared in agreement. "Blackie, what did you just say?" Xia Jun's body stiffened. He turned his head and looked at the dragon turtle mechanically. "Overlord." The dragon turtle roared again. Dong. Xia Jun fell to the ground. He recalled a rumor that the dragon turtle was the descendant of the ancient dragon clan's overlord. Once the dragon turtle changed its voice, it would awaken the overlord bloodline. "I didn't expect the young master of the Divine Fist sect to be so miserable. It's fine if he can't compare to Big Brother, but he can't even compare to a turtle." Xia Jun felt that he had suffered too much. Of course, he wasn't the one who suffered the most. Just when Yi Fei couldn't take it anymore and wanted to use all his strength to beat up the Beast King to vent his anger, in a corner where no one was paying attention, Pang Feng and the other 2 stared at Little Fatty. Their eyes flashed with an ominous glint. They had plotted to murder Little Fatty in the Beast Hall. If Little Fatty were to speak of this matter, with how much the Beast King doted on Little Fatty, he would definitely punish them severely. If they didn't want to be punished, their only chance was to use this opportunity to capture Little Fatty and threaten him to keep the matter of the Beast Hall a secret. "Pang Hu, go bring old Six over." Pang Feng gave Pang Hu a meaningful glance. "Third bro, don't worry. Without Yi Fei, that idiot 6th bro is just a good-for-nothing. If I scare him, he'll probably piss his pants." "Ah." Pang Hu laughed loudly and walked to Little Fatty's side. His big hand grabbed Little Fatty without hesitation. "Idiot, third brother is looking for you. Come with us." "I'm just stupid, I'm not stupid. How many times do you want me to repeat myself?" Little Fatty shouted angrily. He shook off Pang Hu's hand and ran towards Yi Fei. "I'm going to help elder brother." Pang Hu was taken aback for a moment. Then, intense anger surged onto his face. "Great, you've become more daring after entering the Beast Hall. You good for nothing, what's the use of going there? You're just an idiot." As he spoke, Pang Hu's hands grabbed Little Fatty like a pair of iron pincers. In the past, he would often use this move to tease Little Fatty, scaring him until he peed his pants. But this time, Pang Hu's hands didn't feel like he was grabbing a person, but a terrifying vicious beast. How many times do I have to say it? I'm not a fool, I'm not a fool, I'm not a fool. Little Fatty suddenly roared. His voice was like thunder, shaking the entire sky. Little Fatty didn't know where he got the strength from, but he grabbed Pang Hu's hand and threw him in front of him. Bam! Pang Hu didn't resist at all. His body was thrown a few hundred meters away by Little Fatty like a sandbag. His face was stuck to the wall, twisted in pain as he slid down, leaving a ghastly trail of blood on the wall. It can't be. The 3 heroes of the prince's mansion were thrown out? Who is it that dares to attack the crown prince of the prince's mansion in the Beast Master's mansion? The martial saints were shocked once again. Only then did they withdraw their gazes from Yi Fei. When they turned their heads to look, they were shocked once again. Only now did they realize that the one who had thrown Pang Hu out was actually the famous fool of the prince's residence, Pang Bei? How could this be? The disciples of the prince's mansion were all shocked. "Fool, how dare you throw me out?" Pang Hu got up from the ground with a violent expression. He touched his face that was covered in blood. He was so angry that his eyes turned red. So what if I throw you out? Also, I'm not a fool. Elder brother said that I'm no longer the good-for-nothing. There's a big fatty living in my body now. I'll call it out and beat you all to death. Roar. The sound of thunder turned into a bestial roar. The little fatty's words were not clear, but his actions shook everyone's hearts. Following the little fatty's angry roar, the little fatty disappeared. The little fatty suddenly disappeared. Then, an incomparably huge fatty appeared in the square of the Beast Master Mansion. At a closer look, it was a huge, ancient ape. It raised its arms and hammered the ground. The sound of thunder rumbled and a huge hole appeared in the ground. Then, the huge ape grabbed the ground of the Beast Master's mansion with its bare hands and lifted it up. Instantly, half of the ground was overturned. A huge mountain appeared in the huge ape's hands and smashed it toward Pang Hu. Father, save me! Pang Hu was so scared that his face turned pale. His legs trembled and he peed his pants on the spot. It was not his fault. When they saw the little fatty turn into a terrifying huge ape, many disciples of the prince's mansion were so scared that they could not stand up. Stop! After all, Pang Hu was the crown prince of the prince's mansion. 10 martial saints from the prince's mansion attacked at the same time, trying to subdue the little fatty. This made the little fatty even more furious. You are all bad people. Other than my elder brother, no one is good to me. I'll beat you all to death. Rumble! The huge ape waved its hands like mountains. With a slap, the 5 martial saints were all sent flying. Their faces were stuck to the wall and they slowly slid down. Yi Fei, who was fighting with the Beast Master, was also stunned. Damn, how is this a little fatty? It's clearly a Tarzan of the apes. And it's the kind that can take people's lives. It can't be. How did my son become like this? 5 martial saints can't even withstand a slap from him? What did you go through in the Beast Hall? What did you do to my good son? The Beast Master was suddenly furious. He stared coldly at Yi Fei. It was obvious that the Beast Master really cared about the little fatty. If Yi Fei didn't give him a reasonable explanation, the Beast Master would kill Yi Fei even if he had to sacrifice his son-in-law. Yi Fei was depressed when he heard this. He said angrily, "Humph, isn't it all because of you that the little fatty became like this? You can even lay your hands on a 7-year-old daughter, let alone a stupid son. You asked me what I did to the little fatty in the Beast Hall. Why don't you ask your 3 sons how they tried to kill the little fatty in the Beast Hall?" Shut up! The Beast Master was completely enraged. His terrifying anger formed a hurricane around him. He said angrily, "Don't you dare slander my son! The children of the Beast Master have always loved each other. How could they kill each other? Even if you don't want to be my son-in-law, you don't have to slander my children like this." Rumble! After saying this, the Beast Master smashed the void with a punch. He decided to teach Yi Fei a very severe lesson. At the very least, he wanted to make Yi Fei pay for what he said just now. "Father, don't you dare hurt elder brother!" Rumble! Chapter 943. A Ruthless Slap. What? Even though the Beast King was a martial sage in the 5th layer of sky-piercing realm, he was completely stunned when he saw the little fatty's mountain-like palm flying towards him. The martial sages present were all dumbfounded. The little fatty had already sent 5 martial sages flying with a single slap, which was already very shocking. Now, the little fatty actually had the courage of a bear and the courage of a leopard? He even dared to slap the Beast King in the 5th layer of sky-piercing realm? The most terrifying thing was that the little fatty's slap had really caught the Beast King off guard. It didn't feel like a son slapping his father at all. It felt more like a slap to a fly. The martial sage in the fifth layer of sky-piercing realm was slapped so hard that his face was stuck to the wall and he slowly slid down in front of everyone's eyes. This is impossible. He's just a fool in our Wang mansion. How did he become so strong that even the Beast King was sent flying with a single slap? The disciples of the Wang mansion were in an uproar. They couldn't connect the terrifying giant ape in front of them with the Wang mansion's jinx, the good-for-nothing. At this moment, the little fatty didn't have the slightest bit of good-for-nothing aura. The little fatty who had transformed into a giant ape had a tyrannical aura, like a ferocious beast from ancient times. Not to mention the martial sages present, even Yi Fei was speechless. He vaguely knew that the little fatty's terrifying performance should be due to the demon god's demonic power. When they were in the beast hall, the demon god had said that the little fatty's demonic blood was still relatively thin and he couldn't completely withstand the demon god's power. There was still a large portion of the demon god's power remaining in the little fatty's body. Then, the little fatty was stimulated and unconsciously released the demon god's power. However, the Beast King deserves to be unlucky. He can't even differentiate between good and bad children. He still wants me to be his son-in-law. He can only dream. Yi Fei shook his head. With the little fatty standing up for him, he couldn't be bothered to continue entangling with the Beast King. Besides, his current strength was still a little lacking compared to the Beast King. Rumble! After receiving a solid slap, the Beast King was so angry that sparks flew out of his breath. He charged into the sky once again and pointed at the giant ape that little fatty had transformed into and scolded, "Bastard brat, look carefully. I am your father and they are your brothers. Instead of helping your father and brothers teach this brat a lesson, you are actually protecting him. No, they're not my elder brothers. They've never treated me as their younger brother. They only bullied me like I was retarded. They even wanted to kill me in the Beast Hall. In this world, the only one who treats me well is my elder brother. If anyone dares to touch my elder brother, I will beat them up. Dong dong dong." The giant ape furiously pounded its chest, but what came out was the little fatty's angry, repressed, and pained voice. He had been suppressed for far too long. Little fatty was stupid, but he wasn't stupid. At the very least, he knew who was sincere to him and who was fake. Sigh. Yi Fei suddenly sighed. What did you say? In the Beast Hall, your elder brothers actually wanted to kill you? Was it Yi Fei who saved you? When the Beast King heard this, he was so shocked that he took a few steps back. At the same time, a terrifying aura instantly locked onto Pang Feng and the other two in the crowd. Pang Feng, Pang Long, Pang Hu, is what Luer said true? Did you really want to kill him in the Beast Hall? The Beast King no longer paid attention to Yi Fei. His cold eyes suddenly looked at his three sons. They were filled with disappointment and anger. Do you really think that I'm an old fool? Do you think that I don't know that your love for Luer is just an act in front of me? Do you know why I haven't punished you? That is because I hope that you can repent. I hope that you will one day wake up and realize that you are brothers by blood. Sixth brother might be a little stupid, but how is he a threat to you? Why did you do this? With every sentence that the Beast King said, Pang Feng and the other two's faces turned a shade paler. They were completely stunned and terrified. So father already knew about everything that we did. To think that we always thought that father didn't know anything, plop. Pang Feng and the other two all knelt on the ground with pale faces. Father, please spare us. We know that we were wrong. The Beast King's face was frosty. He resisted the urge to slap these unfilial sons to death and roared angrily, Men, capture these unfilial sons and throw them into the heavenly prison. Once I capture this brat, I'll deal with them. The three martial saints ignored Pang Feng and the other two's wails and walked over with cold faces. They broke their legs and dragged them towards the heavenly prison. They didn't show any favoritism just because they were princes. Beast King, what is the meaning of this? I have no enmity with you. Why are you capturing me and not letting me go? Yi Fei was very angry. He originally thought that he could reconcile with the Beast King by relying on his special relationship with Little Fatty. He didn't expect that this old fellow would be so shameless. You have the nerve to marry a 7-year-old daughter to me. If I really marry her, what kind of person would I be? Hurry up and tear up the marriage contract. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson. Yi Fei gritted his teeth and scolded. Hearing this, the Beast King was also enraged. He pointed at Yi Fei and scolded, "You brat who doesn't know what's good for you. It's your fortune that my daughter has taken a fancy to you. Besides, the marriage contract has already been signed. It's written in black and white. If you dare to break the marriage contract, I'll beat you to death. Lu for the sake of your sister's lifelong happiness, capture him for me. Old thing, you're really shameless." Yi Fei's expression changed. With Little Fatty's current body filled with demonic energy, even he wouldn't be able to defeat him. Humph, I want a son-in-law. Why would I care about my face? The Beast King spoke with conviction. Good old thing. You win. Today, I want to see who this Little Fatty listens to. Little Fatty, beat this old thing up for me. Yi Fei ordered straightforwardly. Elder brother, but he's my father. Little Fatty, who had transformed into a giant ape, revealed a puzzled expression. It's precisely because he's your father that you have to beat him up. Beating is a sign of affection, scolding is a sign of love. The more you beat him up, the more it proves your love for him. Yi Fei casually spouted some nonsense. Little Fatty trusted Yi Fei very much. When he heard this, he immediately smacked his head and said, "So that's how it is. Elder brother, I'll listen to you." Brat, what are you doing? I'm your father. Elder brother said that it's precisely because you're my father that I have to beat you up. Little Fatty, who had transformed into a giant ape, was extremely serious. Then, he roared and jumped over to deliver another slap. Yi Fei also took advantage of the Beast King's distraction to rush to Xia Jun's side. The two of them jumped onto the dragon turtle together. Yi Fei roared, "Blackie, run!" Lord! The dragon turtle let out a roar of dissatisfaction. Its entire body instantly soared into the sky and moved out of the Beast King city. The dragon turtle still used the instant of 100 miles. However, unlike Yi Fei, the dragon turtle didn't need to expend its primordial spirit. At the same time, after fusing with the power of the demon god, the dragon turtle's instant of 100 miles instantly increased from 100 miles to 500 miles. Brat, where are you going? You've signed the marriage contract and you still want to leave? What are you waiting for? Chase after him. The Beast King was shocked and angry. If he let Yi Fei escape like this, he would lose a lot of face. When the martial sages of the Beast King residence heard this, they immediately soared into the sky and wanted to chase after him. However, before they could rush out of the Beast King residence, Little Fatty's giant palm had already slapped them all to the ground. You're not allowed to bully elder brother. Not even father. Chapter 944. The Beast King escapes in defeat. When the Little Fatty slapped him to the ground again, even the Beast King, whose skin was as thick as a city wall, flushed with shame. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He didn't understand why the Little Fatty would listen to Yi Fei so much. Seeing that the other martial sages were watching the show, the Beast King hardened his heart and shouted angrily, "What are you all waiting for? Let's attack together. I don't believe that we can't deal with this brat with so many martial sages." After all, the Beast King still had a lot of prestige in Beast King City. When they heard the Beast King's command, the martial sages of the other clans all moved and charged towards the Little Fatty. The Little Fatty ignored everyone else. He only stared at the Beast King and shouted, Father, elder brother said that I should give you a good beating. You have to be careful. Although he said that, the giant ape's hand, which was filled with demonic power, slapped the Beast King again. More than 10 martial sages were sent flying by the little palm. The Beast King also roared angrily. He was once again slapped by the little fatty and fell to the ground. He really couldn't find a place to put his face. It had always been the father beating the son. Now the son was beating the father instead. This feeling was really unpleasant. While the Beast King was feeling depressed, more and more martial sages were being slapped to the ground by the giant ape. All the martial sages were completely stunned. What's going on? The 6th young master's cultivation is clearly only at the Wu Jun 10th layer. How can he be so strong? Even with so many martial sages joining forces, we can't stop him? There should be a very special force in the 6th young master's body. It is this special force that is supporting him. As long as this force is still there, we will not be able to defeat this giant ape. Oh no, the 6th young master is charging over again. The martial sages, who had suffered once, were all wary of the little fatty. They were martial sages after all. When they realized that the little fatty's power was strange, they didn't attack again. Instead, they all scattered. The little fatty didn't care about the others. He only followed Yi Fei's instructions very seriously. Father, elder brother said that beating is a sign of affection, scolding is a sign of love. I'm going to beat you up. The great ape rushed towards the Beast King and swung its huge paw at him. Brat, instead of helping me, you're helping an outsider. And that Yi Fei is even worse. Look at what he's taught my son. If you have the guts, stay where you are and don't move. The Beast King roared. Just as the giant ape stopped in its tracks, the Beast King's face flushed red. He couldn't care less about his reputation as he suddenly fled from the Beast King residence. That brat, even if this prince can't beat him, can't he avoid him? And that bastard Yi Fei, the next time this prince finds a chance, this prince will definitely teach him a lesson. The Beast King thought viciously as he fled. Then, he heard the sound of the ground shaking behind him. Little Fatty's persistent shouts were heard as well. Dad, don't run. I haven't beaten you up yet. It'll be hard to explain this to Big Brother. Puff. Even though the Beast King had a strong will, when he heard these words, he was so angry that his vision turned black. He felt as if there were 10,000 vicious beasts running through his body. Not only did the Beast King not stop, but it also ran even faster. He didn't even dare to stay in the Beast King city. He quickly fled from the Beast King city. Along the way, the Beast King kept venting his anger, smashing the mountains and trees that blocked his way. Little Fatty chased closely behind him. With this chase, the Beast King just happened to reach the mountain where Bailey Zhen and the other two were staying. Bailey Zhen was still there, trying to gather information about Yi Fei. They received news that the opening of the Beast Hall would only end after 5 days. They might as well conserve their energy here, waiting for the Beast King to finish using Yi Fei and kick Yi Fei out. Then, they would start a merciless pursuit of Yi Fei. Bailey Zhen would never have dreamed that the Beast Hall would only open for 3 days before it ended because of an accident. Little Fatty even chased after the Beast King, who was in the 5th stage of the Ascension realm. When the Bailey twin demons sensed the Beast King's anger from afar, their faces turned extremely ugly. What's wrong with the Beast King? Our Bailey clan didn't enter the Beast King city. Why did the Beast King come out to deal with us? Could it be that Yi Fei and the Beast King came to an agreement? Or did the Beast King discover the secret? The Bailey twin demons looked very serious. After all, the Beast King was a martial saint in the 5th stage of the Ascension realm. The Beast King Palace was also filled with experts. If the Beast King was determined to deal with them, they definitely wouldn't be his match. Of course, the Bailey twin demons would never have thought that the Beast King didn't leave the city to cause trouble for them. He was forced to leave because he was being chased. Moreover, His son had beaten his father and chased after him all the way. The Beast King was so angry that he almost vomited blood. His aura was naturally filled with anger. The most important thing was that the Bailey twin demons didn't know about it. The Bailey clan and the Beast King city already had a grudge. Now that the Beast King came out in anger, the two naturally thought that the Beast King was targeting them. "Young master, what should we do? The Beast King is furious. He's definitely coming for us. Could it be that the Beast King already knows the secret?" Bailey Hayshaw said anxiously. Bailey Jin's body was burning with demonic flames. His eyes were filled with certainty as he said, "That's not possible. Yi Fei is not a fool. On the contrary, he's very smart. Just from the fact that he risked his life to protect her, he wouldn't have told the Beast King about her existence. It's most likely that Yi Fei used some tricks to get the Beast King to hold us back while he took the opportunity to escape from the Beast King city and head to the imperial capital." Black-white twin demons. "Yes, young master. I order the two of you to immediately avoid the Beast King and chase after Yi Fei. Since the Beast King came out to deal with us, there's an 80% chance that Yi Fei has already escaped from the Beast King city and headed to the imperial capital. The two of you must not let him take a single step into the imperial capital," Bailey Zhen ordered calmly. "Young master, don't worry. There's only one way to get to the imperial capital. Without the protection of the Beast King city, killing Yi Fei will be no different from killing chickens and ducks." Hayshaw and Bai Sha smiled confidently at the same time. Before the Beast King arrived, they quickly concealed themselves and left the hill. They went around the Beast King city from the side and started chasing after Yi Fei. On the hill, Bailey Zhen sat cross-legged and his eyes flickered with a shocking battle intent. He stared in the direction where the Beast King came from and muttered to himself, "3 days ago, I vaguely touched the threshold of the Sage-to-be realm. The Beast King came at the right time. He's a martial sage at the 5th level of the Heaven Ascension realm. I can make use of him as an opportunity to break through. As long as I become a Sage-to-be, with the power of my bloodline, I'll definitely be able to advance further and become the young king of the 10 nations." The title of young king represented glory and glory. However, this glory was extremely difficult to obtain. The strongest genius of an empire could only be called the young king. In order to become the young king, this genius had to defeat the strongest geniuses of 10 empires in order to have a chance to obtain the title of young king. At the same time, above the young king was the supreme title of young emperor. However, it was too difficult to obtain the title of young emperor. One had to defeat at least 100 of the strongest geniuses of the empires and gain their recognition before becoming a recognized young emperor. I, Bailey Zhen, don't dare to hope for the title of young emperor. However, I, Bailey Zhen, am determined to get the title of young king. This Beast King is the last whetstone for me to become a young king." The Beast King's aura was getting closer and closer. Bailey Zhen's body was burning with demon flames, and he suddenly stood up on the hill like a fiend celestial. He yelled loudly, "Beast King, fight me!" That kind of spirit was not like that of a 10th level of the Earth Ascension realm, who was challenging a 5th level of the Heaven Ascension realm. Instead, it was more like a powerhouse of the same realm who was looking for an opponent. It was full of oppression and confidence. The Beast King was immediately stunned. Chapter 945. The twin demons attack. No matter how much the Beast King complained, it was useless. Bailey Zhen had already charged down from the hill. He could only brace himself and face him head-on. The Beast King, who was in the 5th layer of the sky-piercing realm, would not take a junior like Bailey Zhen seriously. This caused the Beast King to suffer a loss. But soon, Bailey Zhen also suffered a loss in the hands of Little Fatty. Rumble! The hill was soon completely destroyed in the battle between the two sides. In the midst of the destruction, the roars of Bailey Zhen, the Beast King, and Little Fatty could be heard. Yi Fei rode on the dragon turtle leisurely towards the imperial capital. Xia Jun was curious and kept asking questions. He wanted to know what had happened in the Beast Hall. Big brother, what did you experience in the Beast Hall? Not only did the dragon turtle turn into Baxia, but Little Fatty also awakened a demon soul, not a primordial spirit. Xia Jun exclaimed. To be honest, in the Beast Hall, Little Fatty's action of slapping martial sages as if they were flies had really shocked Xia Jun. Yi Fei was a little surprised. The dragon turtle turned into Baxia? Oh right, how did you know that Little Fatty awakened a demon soul? Xia Jun smiled. Big brother, have you forgotten that in the chaotic ocean, there used to be an ancient sect called the Star Sect? Actually, our Divine Fist sect has only inherited a little of the Star Sect's martial arts and some books about the ancient times. Of course, Yi Fei knew about the ancient Star Sect. He had even gone to the Star Observatory and seen the consciousness of the dead martial emperor. However, he did not expect the Divine Fist sect to be related to the Star Sect. Yi Fei sighed. No wonder you know so much. However, it's best that you don't know about the Beast Hall. It involves the secrets of the demon race. But speaking of demon souls, I have found a way for you to increase your strength quickly. As he spoke, Yi Fei took out a large number of demon souls and handed them to Xia Jun. These demon souls could transform and fly in the Beast Hall. Once they were caught, they would turn into shining demon soul fragments. It was very magical. These are demonic souls comparable to sacred bones. My God, there are so many of them. How many demonic souls did you get in there? Xia Jun was shocked. Not a lot. I only caught 10,000 demon souls. The rest were eaten by the dragon turtle and Little Fatty, Yi Fei said casually. Hearing this, Xia Jun almost vomited blood. He had read the records of the Star Sect, so he naturally knew the use of the demon soul. The value of a demon soul was comparable to a saint bone. Yi Fei had actually captured a total of 10,000 demonic souls. It was simply too brutal. But I like this kind of savagery. Hee, now I have a way to break through quickly. Xia Jun was drooling as he held a pile of demon soul fragments in his hands. Yi Fei also nodded and said, the demon soul's function is the same as the sage bone, it can suppress the heart demon. The Heaven and Earth Supreme ranking competition is about to start. Since there's still some time, Xia Jun, you have to raise your realm to at least Earth Thorough 7th level and above. Only then can we join the Saint Academy to cultivate. Saint Academy, I wonder if there are many beauties in there. Xia Jun held the demon soul in his hands and could not help but reveal a wretched smile. When Yi Fei saw this, he shuddered in fear. This guy is hopeless. Ha ha, there are countless beauties in the Saint Academy. It's a pity that the two of you will not have the chance to enjoy them. Suddenly, there was a cold laugh in the void in front of them. Yi Fei's expression changed and he quickly let the dragon turtle land on a mountain peak. In the sky, two figures, one black and one white, had appeared out of nowhere. It's Bailey Heisha. He even found helpers. Xia Jun's voice trembled. It was not because he was afraid, but because the martial sage aura that the black-white double ghosts released was too strong. Dragon Turtle, you and Xia Jun retreat to a safe place. I will take care of these two. Yi Fei instructed calmly. The Dragon Turtle and Xia Jun immediately retreated when they heard this. Yi Fei walked up to the sky and stared at Bailey Heisha. Heisha, you came at the right time. You chased after me last time. This time, I will have a good fight with you. What? You want to fight with me? Do you think you are worthy? Bailey Heisha was furious. If he had not been careless and met the Dragon Turtle, he would not have been defeated by the Dragon Turtle. Brat, you were lucky last time. I did not know that you had the Dragon Turtle with you. This time, I will not hold back. Bai Sha, You go and take care of the dragon turtle and the brat over there. As for Yi Fei, leave him to me." Bailey He Sha was afraid that the dragon turtle would cause trouble again, and had already divided the work with Bai Sha. Bailey He Sha nodded and looked coldly at Yi Fei. He ignored Yi Fei and was about to charge towards the dragon turtle. "Stop. If you want to deal with them, you have to get past me first." Yi Fei would not let Bailey He Sha pass him easily. He could feel that Bailey He Sha's aura was stronger than Bailey He Sha's. Bailey He Sha was a level 2 of the Heavenly Ascension Realm. Bailey He Sha was at least a level 3 of the Heavenly Ascension Realm. They were not people that the Dragon Turtle and Xia Jun could stop. If I want to kill someone, do you think you can stop me?" Bailey He Sha looked at Yi Fei with disdain. To him, Yi Fei was only lucky that he could escape. Now that the black-white double ghosts attacked together, even the Heavenly Grand Master Grand Sage would not be able to escape. Bailey He Sha did not care about Yi Fei at all. As he spoke, Bailey He Sha planned to go past Yi Fei and attack the Dragon Turtle and Xia Jun. "Take my sword." Yi Fei touched his space belt and took out the Emperor-based Saint Sword. A huge sword mountain rose from the ground and slashed towards Bailey He Sha. "Heaven Sword Skill, Mountain of Sword Chi? You have indeed obtained the martial arts of the 3 ultimate martial emperor. Unfortunately, your cultivation level is too low. No matter how strong your sword is, you will not be able to hurt the Heavenly Grand Master Grand Sage." Dark Demon Hand. Bailey He Sha walked in the sky as if he was taking a stroll. Facing Yi Fei's sword mountain, he only needed to use his huge black palm to smash the sword mountain into pieces. This Bailey Sha is not a level 3 of the Heavenly Ascension Realm. He is a level 4 martial sage. When Bailey Sha attacked, Xia Jun and the Dragon Turtle could feel his terrifying cultivation level. Their expressions changed. Although Yi Fei had fought with the Beast King before, both of them did not really fight before the little fatty interrupted. At this moment, could Yi Fei defeat the 100 Miles White Fiend? The answer was definitely yes. Don't forget that Yi Fei had already reached the 5th level of the Path of the God of War. He had the ability to fight someone 5 levels above him. Facing Bailey Sha, who was a level 4 of the Heavenly Ascension Realm, Yi Fei was not afraid at all. Moreover, Bailey Sha did not even take Yi Fei seriously. Yi Fei took advantage of Bailey Sha's underestimation of his opponent. When the Sword Mountain was destroyed, he suddenly used the power of Azura and entered the forbidden area of the ancient geniuses. Kill. Sword of Earth. Rumble. Sword Chi roared like a mountain collapsing. With the destruction of one Sword Mountain, an even larger Sword Mountain rose from the ground. It slashed forward. Not only did it destroy Bailey Sha's Dark Demon Hand, but it also hit Bailey Sha mercilessly. Bailey Sha's face flashed with fear. "My Dark Demon Hand was destroyed. You can fight someone 5 levels above you. Do you have a special bloodline too?" Chapter 946. Purple Thunder Cloud. The Bailey family was very powerful in the Snow Wind Empire. If the Beast King Mansion didn't have the support of the Imperial family, even the Beast King Mansion wouldn't be a match for them. The Bailey family had a thorough understanding of Yi Fei. They even knew that Yi Fei had a relationship with the Merchant Union. Naturally, they knew that Yi Fei had a sister who had a special ice bloodline. Since his sister had a special bloodline, it wasn't strange that Yi Fei also had a special bloodline as his brother. Anger and killing intent flashed across Bailey He Sha's face. "Brat, you've hidden your strength well. So you also have a special bloodline. No wonder Bailey Zhen had chased you for so long and failed twice. Bai Sha, we must kill this brat today." Killing him is too easy for him. I will personally destroy his bloodline and let him taste the pain of being a cripple. Due to his carelessness, the White Fiend was struck in the chest by Yi Fei's sword, tearing out a huge bloody wound on the spot. The white fiend was so angry that his face turned green. In the end, he was a martial saint at the fourth layer of heaven connection. The moment he was injured, he quickly retreated. At the same time, a green armor appeared on his body and quickly covered him. Emperor weapon? I should have known. Even Pang Feng and the others have an emperor weapon. How can these two experts from the Bailey family not have one? Last time, He Sha was chased away by the dragon turtle because he didn't want to be entangled with the dragon turtle. It wasn't because he was weak. Yi Fei die. Wrath of the Dark Demon. The white fiend was enraged. Suddenly, countless pitch-black devil flames appeared in his hand. Finally, they turned into a huge devil flame bow, and he drew the bowstring. Whoosh! The bowstring vibrated, and a terrifying demon flame arrow rain turned into meteors, shattering the void and shining with terrifying black flames. Demon war in all directions. When He Sha saw Bai Sha attack, a pitch-black demonic blade appeared in his hand. His blade was shining with a blood-red light. Then, a great amount of blade chi formed a terrifying curtain that covered the sky and moved towards Yi Fei. The combination of the duo fiends made Xia Jun and the dragon turtle feel the fear of death. Facing the joint attack of the twin fiends, Yi Fei's expression turned serious. Although he could fight across 5 levels, he could only fight to a draw with the white fiend. If the black fiend joined the fight, he would undoubtedly be at a great disadvantage. Looks like I can't hold back anymore. At this moment of life and death, Yi Fei had no need to hold back. Purple Gold Taiji. Yi Fei quickly fused the power of Azura and the power of the War Demon. Instantly, his body erupted with raging purple gold flames, which then condensed into a special Tai Chi sphere to protect his body. Black Fiend, go to hell! Man and sword as one, Helran Gaia. Rumble! The earth trembled, and the sword chi whistled like a hurricane. A total of 12 sword mountains rose from the ground, tearing the sky apart. The Black Fiend was shocked. What kind of freak is this kid? He actually condensed 12 primordial spirits. Although Bailey Zhen had mentioned this before and his tone was filled with jealousy, the Black Fiend was still incomparably shocked when he saw it for the first time. Then, he felt that his sword chi that filled the sky was completely suppressed by the sword mountains. At the same time, his body was continuously hit by several sword mountains. A large amount of blood mist spurted out of his mouth. He was severely injured by Yi Fei. In the end, the Black Fiend was only in the second stage of the sky-piercing realm. Even if he had an emperor weapon, he was still no match for Yi Fei, who was 5 levels higher than him. Yi Fei, you are indeed powerful. If you were given more time to grow, even if you couldn't compare to Bailey Zhen, you would still become the second strongest person in the Snow Wind Empire. Unfortunately, you won't have that chance. The Black Fiend wiped off the blood on his body, his face extremely cold. The Black Fiend wasn't fighting alone. There was also the White Fiend near him. Yi Fei realized that the White Fiend's arrow rain was just an illusion. The White Fiend's Real killing move was still in his hands. It was an extremely dense demonic flame. When Yi Fei was severely injured by the Black Fiend, the White Fiend pulled on his demonic bow and appeared in front of Yi Fei in the blink of an eye. The fear of death assaulted Yi Fei's heart. Instinctively, he pushed the purple gold Tai Chi to the limit in an attempt to block the arrow light. However, the White Fiend's arrow light was too terrifying. It was an extremely powerful arrow that was ready to be shot. Even the purple gold Tai Chi couldn't block it. Bang! Yi Fei was shocked to find that his purple gold Tai Chi arrow had been shattered. The demonic flame continued to shoot towards his body. Almost instinctively, Yi Fei's body emitted a dazzling golden light. At the same time, countless mysterious scales appeared on his skin. It's futile. The White Fiend pulled on the bowstring gently and looked at Yi Fei coldly. Following his voice, Yi Fei was shocked to discover that his golden body of the War Demon and the scales covering his body were unable to withstand the terrifying light of the Devil Flame. At the last moment, Yi Fei could only block the last ray of the demonic flame with the emperor-based saint's sword in front of him. However, his entire body was shot a few hundred meters away by the arrow. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Why can't my purple gold Tai Chi block this arrow? Isn't the purple gold Tai Chi invulnerable? Isn't the power of despair one of the 10 most powerful forces? Yi Fei spat out blood and slowly fell from the sky. He didn't fear death. His heart was only filled with doubts. Then, he couldn't help but recall his conversation with the demon god. Yes, it's not that the power of despair isn't strong enough. It's just that I haven't fused it enough. One fusion of the power of despair can only help me block absolute ground realm martial art. If I want to block Ascension realm martial arts, I have to fuse it again. Whoosh! The confusion in his eyes disappeared. At this critical moment, Yi Fei's brain worked to the limit. He quickly figured out why the purple gold Tai Chi had shattered. Clearly, to defeat the white demon and the black demon, relying on the 5th stage of the God of War path wasn't enough. He had to take a risk and fuse it a second time. Dragon Turtle, take Xia Jun and leave quickly. The faster the better. Yi Fei didn't turn around. He couldn't turn around. The black demon and the black demon kept staring at him coldly. Seeing that Yi Fei hadn't been killed by the arrow, the white demon coldly drew the demonic flame bow in his hand again. The black demon sneered. He had swallowed a special elixir. Not only had his injuries healed, but his aura had also increased from Ascension Realm Stage 2 to Ascension Realm Stage 3. Yi Fei, you must die this time. The black demon and the black demon roared together. Even if I die, you will die with me. Power of despair, fuse it a second time. Yi Fei's eyes flashed with determination. Without hesitation, he removed the real Spirit 9 transformations and suppressed his aura. Yi Fei's aura suddenly became fierce and filled with despair and destruction. Silently, the sky darkened. At the same time, a purple thundercloud slowly spread out in all directions with Yi Fei as the center. Run, Dragon Turtle. Run faster. That's a tribulation cloud. Big Brother is too crazy. He actually triggered a tribulation. Seeing the purple thundercloud in the sky, Xia Jun was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Chapter 947. Terrifying Heavenly Tribulation, Tribulation Cloud. How could it be Tribulation Cloud? The white demon stared blankly at the purple tribulation cloud in the sky. It had completely locked onto them. The white demon even forgot to continue attacking Yi Fei. The black demon was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. He pointed at Yi Fei with a trembling finger, unable to speak. The twin ghosts of black and white had never imagined that Yi Fei would be so crazy. After realizing that he could not defeat them, he actually summoned the heavenly tribulation and wanted to drag them down with him. At the same time, the two of them were very confused. Ancient martial art practitioners knew how powerful the heavenly tribulation was. However, only a martial sage who had broken through to a martial emperor could trigger the heavenly tribulation. Yi Fei was only an absolute Earth Stage 10 Almighty. How could he have triggered the heavenly tribulation? However, before they could think about it and before Yi Fei could regain his senses, Yi Fei took the initiative to remove the suppression of the real Spirit 9 transformations. Instantly, the tribulation cloud in the sky locked onto Yi Fei and the twin ghosts of black and white. If Yi Fei had not warned them in time and the dragon turtle was fast enough, this heavenly tribulation might have killed both Xia Jun and the dragon turtle. This is the heavenly tribulation? Even a martial sage is like an ant in front of the heavenly tribulation. Yi Fei lamented as he looked at the heavenly tribulation in the sky. This was his first time experiencing the heavenly tribulation. As the saying goes, the ignorant are fearless. Other than feeling that the heavenly tribulation was slightly oppressive, Yi Fei did not feel anything else. The twin ghosts of Black and White were different. The Bailey clan had many powerful martial sages. However, without exception, when the heavenly tribulation was mentioned, even the most powerful martial sage would sound serious. At this moment, how could the twin ghosts of Black and White not be afraid? They did not even care about continuing to chase after Yi Fei. The two of them worked together and hurriedly took out 2 void teleportation talismans, trying to escape the range of the heavenly tribulation. Bang! The talisman broke, but the twin ghosts of Black and White did not teleport away. How could this be? It's just a heavenly tribulation triggered by an absolute land realm expert. It's one thing for it to lock onto us, but why would it lock onto this world as well? The White Fiend's face was pale, and his voice trembled as he spoke. Black Fiend's eyes were bloodshot. He was so angry that he was about to go crazy. When he realized that he couldn't escape the range of the heavenly tribulation, he bared his fangs and brandished his claws. He charged at Yi Fei. Brat, you actually tricked us with the heavenly tribulation. I, Black Fiend, will kill you right now. Kill me? If you have the ability to survive this heavenly tribulation, then we'll talk about it. Yi Fei sneered. Regardless of He Sha's clamor, Yi Fei took the initiative to trigger the heavenly tribulation. He was gambling with his life. Since he wasn't even afraid of death, why would Yi Fei be afraid of He Sha's threat? He Sha couldn't rush to Yi Fei's side at all. Bai Sha hurriedly pulled him back and shouted, "Now is not the time to fight with him. He is already a dying man. Instead, if we don't want to die, we must join forces to resist this heaven's retribution." Rumble. Heaven and earth changed drastically. Purple thunderclouds appeared at an unusually fast speed. Just as Bai Sha finished speaking, a terrifying aura of heaven and earth had already shocked the 3 of them. Bam! Under this aura of heaven and earth, the black-white double demons knelt down in fear. They didn't even have the courage to raise their heads. Yi Fei was even more unlucky. He was pressed to the ground and couldn't move. He had no choice. His cultivation level was the lowest here. Without using the power of Azura, he couldn't even stand up, let alone resist the heavenly tribulation. This is the heavenly tribulation? It's so powerful before it even comes down. If it comes down, I won't be struck to death by the heavenly tribulation, right? Yi Fei's face was full of bitterness. He finally knew how difficult this path of despair was. He didn't dare to delay. Yi Fei hurriedly activated the God of War Dao and entered the forbidden area again. Just as Yi Fei got up, a terrifying whirlpool of lightning appeared in the sky. The whirlpool was extremely terrifying. It immediately formed a deep void ocean eye. Then, a second, a third, a fourth. A total of 7 whirlpools of lightning appeared in the sky. 7 tribulations of heavenly tribulation. How can it be this powerful? What kind of freak is that kid? Seeing the endless whirlpools of lightning appearing in the sky, the black demon's voice started to tremble. Then, boom! Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The first whirlpool of lightning suddenly split into 3 and turned into 3 lightning pillars that were as thick as bucket. They fell mercilessly. Block it! You must block it! The black-white double demons roared at the same time. They joined forces and faced the 2 lightning pillars at the same time. They actually used their fists to stop the lightning pillars. Heaven's sword art! Yi Fei's face turned serious. His entire body turned into a sword of heaven and earth. His sword aura was like a mountain and a long river. It flowed endlessly and quickly shattered the lightning pillars that were falling towards him. The heavenly tribulation is just SOSO. Yi Fei thought to himself. Ha ha ha, your cultivation level is still not high enough. Kid, even if you can trigger the heavenly tribulation, do you think you can kill us with this little power? The black demon laughed maniacally. After successfully blocking the heavenly tribulation, the black demon gained some confidence. He even wanted to take the opportunity to rush over and kill Yi Fei first. Yi Fei looked at the black demon as if he was facing a formidable enemy. If he still could not kill the black-white double demons, he really did not know what to do next. Should he use his undying sword soul? Boom! Before Yi Fei could figure out a strategy, the second lightning pillar fell. Its power was more than twice as strong as before. The black demon's face finally changed. He did not dare to continue mocking Yi Fei. Instead, he used all his strength and joined forces with the white demon to shatter the lightning pillar. On the other side, Yi Fei also used his sword light to shatter the second lightning pillar. Just as he heaved a sigh of relief and thought that the heavenly tribulation was just SOSO, boom, boom. Suddenly, the third and fourth lightning pillars fell at the same time. Its power was 10 times stronger than before. This is bad. That's 10 times the power of the heavenly tribulation. It can kill me. Heaven's sword art, block it for me. Yi Fei transformed into a sword again and slashed at the lightning pillar with his strongest power. The third lightning pillar was quickly shattered. However, just as Yi Fei was blocking the fourth lightning pillar, suddenly, a strong sense of numbness made Yi Fei's movements become incomparably slow. Bam! The fourth lightning pillar landed firmly on Yi Fei's body. Yi Fei's purple gold Tai Chi, battle demon golden body, and mysterious scales formed a triple layer of defense. However, it only lasted for a breath's time before it was destroyed. Puff, puff. On the other side, the black-white double demons were not much better. Yi Fei could not block the fourth lightning pillar, but the black-white double demons could not do the same. The fourth lightning pillar also severely injured them. Yi Fei was on the verge of tears. If he had known that the heavenly tribulation was so terrifying, he would have made more preparations before attempting to transcend the tribulation. The sky suddenly turned bright. The fourth lightning pillar had just passed when the fifth lightning pillar fell mercilessly. At this moment, Yi Fei did not even have the mood to cry. When he felt the destructive aura of the fifth lightning pillar, Yi Fei gritted his teeth. His 12 primordial spirits emitted light at the same time. They were like 12 suns as they charged forward one by one towards the fifth lightning pillar. As expected, the heavenly tribulation was terrifying. Even if Yi Fei self-destructed his primordial spirits, he could not withstand it. Out of the 12 primordial spirits, Yi Fei had self-destructed 10. If it were any other warrior, they would have died long ago. Yet, they still could not stop the descent of the heavenly tribulation. Chapter 948. Killing Tribulations. No, I can't lose. If I lose here, what's the point of walking the path of despair? I have to win, even if it's a heavenly tribulation. Ignoring the numbness all over his body, Yi Fei crawled up from the ground with his pitch-black body. He looked at his arms and realized that both of his arms had been charred by the lightning, emitting a pungent smell. I'm so badly injured. Both of my arms were almost destroyed. Seeing his charred arm and the faintly visible white bones, Yi Fei finally felt the intense pain that came from his body after the numbness. This was only the fifth heavenly tribulation. There were 2 more terrifying heavenly tribulations brewing. Feeling the terror of the heavenly tribulation clouds in the sky, Yi Fei did not dare to hold back. He opened his space belt and took out all the spiritual stones. Then, he used his remaining primordial spirit to absorb them. Cough, cough, cough. Violent coughing sounds came from afar. Yi Fei was so badly injured by the fifth heavenly tribulation. The double ghosts of black and white would not have it any better. The heavenly tribulation did not care if the 2 of them worked together. Strictly speaking, the more people there were, the more powerful the heavenly tribulation would be. Although the double ghosts of black and white were omnipotent grand sages, they were still as small as ants in front of the heavenly tribulation. After the heavenly tribulation, the white demon's clothes were charred. He knelt on the ground and coughed up blood. The black demon was in the worst state. He was only in the second tier of omnipotent realm. Facing the heavenly tribulation, he was the weakest. Even though the white demon helped him share some of the pressure, one of his arms was still blown to pieces by the fifth heavenly tribulation. My left arm is gone. My arm was destroyed by the heavenly tribulation. Yi Fei, you evil creature! You tricked us with the heavenly tribulation. I won't let you off even if I become a ghost. No, I won't let you off even if I don't become a ghost. Die. The pain of losing his arm made He Sha mad. He roared and took advantage of the time when Yi Fei was still absorbing the spirit stones. He Sha's face was filled with hostility as he rushed over, wanting to kill Yi Fei. Scram! Yi Fei waved his emperor-based saint's sword with his mind. Boundless sword light formed a whistling hurricane and forced He Sha back. Even though he had detonated 11 primordial spirits, Yi Fei still kept the last primordial spirit. At the same time, the huge amount of spiritual qi that he had absorbed had awakened the undying sword soul in Yi Fei's body. The familiar black energy quickly healed Yi Fei's injured arms. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Fei grabbed the Imperial Saint's sword and rushed to He Sha's side. You dare to kill me? Black Fiend roared angrily like a malicious spirit. Perhaps he knew that he would not be able to survive the next heavenly tribulation, so he forgot his fear. He unleashed his strongest strength and slashed out with his saber, attempting to perish together with Yi Fei. Yi Fei quickly blocked the attack with his emperor-based saint's sword. Then, he used Void Step and suddenly appeared behind He Sha. Before He Sha could react, Yi Fei had already grabbed He Sha and lifted him up high. Then, he threw He Sha into the sky. His injuries healed so quickly? The White Fiend had seen with his own eyes that Yi Fei's arms had almost been destroyed by the heavenly tribulation. Such injuries could not be healed so easily even with elixirs. However, Yi Fei had only taken out some spiritual stones to absorb, and his injuries had healed quickly. He could even wield his sword immediately. This was obviously unusual. With the White Fiend's shrewdness, it was easy for him to figure out that Yi Fei might have a healing treasure on him. The White Fiend roared, "Let go of He Sha! Give me the healing treasure and I'll spare your life." Boom! The White Fiend was still one step too late. When Yi Fei grabbed He Sha, the sixth heavenly tribulation had already fallen mercilessly. Under this heavenly tribulation, the White Fiend's face was paler than a sheet of paper. He did not even have time to save He Sha. The White Fiend's heart skipped a beat. He was not as ruthless as Yi Fei, who dared to detonate 11 primordial spirits. The only thing the White Fiend could do was to quickly detonate all his imperial weapons and other treasures, hoping to weaken the power of the heavenly tribulation. Indeed, the White Fiend's move did weaken the sixth heavenly tribulation, but only by a little. Before the sixth heavenly tribulation fell, the seventh heavenly tribulation had already fallen. This was the terror of the heavenly tribulation, and also the ruthlessness of the heavenly Tao. There was only one outcome for angering the heavenly Tao, and that was complete destruction. It's over. I'm finished. I can't survive the 7 tribulations. The White Fiend watched the 2 heavenly tribulations fall one after another. Despair finally appeared on his face. Ah, Yi Fei, what are you doing? White Fiend, save me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. The Black Fiend's terrified screams came from afar. He knew he could not survive, but when faced with death, he still screamed in fear. Yi Fei's throw was too accurate. He did not have as many treasures to detonate as the White Fiend, so he simply grabbed the Black Fiend and threw him into the heavenly tribulation cloud. This way, Yi Fei was below and the Black Fiend was above. At the same time, the 4 heavenly tribulations of Yi Fei and the Black Fiend adjusted quickly. The 4 heavenly tribulations formed a straight line at the same time, forming a pillar of lightning that was as thick as a bucket. It continued to rumble. No! The Black Fiend screamed one last time. Then his entire body, including the imperial weapon in his hand, was blown to ashes by the heavenly tribulation. He died tragically on the spot. The Black Fiend. The White Fiend and the Black Fiend were brothers. They were very close to each other. The Black Fiend's death made the calm White Fiend completely crazy. Anyway, I can't block this heavenly tribulation. Yi Fei, since you used the heavenly tribulation to kill the Black Fiend, then I'll use the heavenly tribulation to kill you. Let's die together. The White Fiend stopped resisting the heavenly tribulation. Instead, he charged at Yi Fei. Behind him, the sixth and seventh heavenly tribulations flashed like lightning snake. They were chasing after Yi Fei and gradually showed signs of merging with the heavenly tribulation chasing after him. Yi Fei could not help but look frightened. The White Fiend's reaction was too fast. If he stood with the White Fiend, then he would have to face 4 heavenly tribulations fusing together. He would definitely die. I can't let the White Fiend come over. But what should I do? With life and death in front of him, Yi Fei's heart was in a mess. His mind was spinning rapidly. At this time, all his strength was used to deal with the Black Fiend and the heavenly tribulation. He did not have much strength left to stop the White Fiend from getting closer unless he could self-destruct another primordial spirit. But Yi Fei only had 12 primordial spirits in total. He had already self-destructed 11 of them. The last one had also self-destructed, so Yi Fei was also dead. If he self-destructed the Emperor-based Saint's sword, even if he blocked the White Fiend, Yi Fei would not be able to block the heavenly tribulation. Looks like I can only self-destruct the Phoenix Blood Sword. Sigh. It was a critical moment. Yi Fei did not dare to hesitate. He took out the Phoenix Blood Sword that he had not used for a long time and threw it into the sky. He spat out a word coldly, explode. Boom. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.